Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3948. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack. Drank.
All right, here we go. Alabama has to pass a law to keep the parents from smoking with their kids in the car. Meanwhile, a Vermont state trooper responds to an emergency call, but he does not get very far. Man saves woman in a wheelchair after it rolls into a lake. To a driving school where an instructor struggles with the gas in the brake. And the mayor of Tampa says she hasn't had a bite of food in 4 days. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, people leave things behind, and they leave things behind generally for 1 of 2 reasons. 1, they simply forgot it, or 2, they don't want it anymore. Now, Uber, as you know, they've taken to creating a database of things left behind in Ubers. And for the most part, I think we can safely guess what's been forgotten versus what has been abandoned. Phones, wallets, keys, and IDs, forgotten. Other items that have been left behind, and we're saying this for real, include a crochet strawberry, a Bernie Sanders fanny pack, a bad painting of a moose, and it's boba time apron. We're guessing those things were abandoned. But then who knows, because people are weird and sometimes people just suck. For example, an employee at the Pittsburgh airport found a French bulldog in a stroller near the short-term parking lot. Long story short, a woman was going on vacation, tried to claim the dog as an emotional support animal, but when that didn't work, she abandoned it and went on her trip anyway. Then there's the Florida couple who were arrested for child neglect after they left their toddler at a park. Now, authorities understood that it was not intentional when they realized that, A, the couple had been contacting authorities for 14 hours about it, but also they have 8 kids, so they kind of understood how you might overlook it. And then there are the people who honestly forget something, but then they make a terrible decision when they realize their mistake. A man in Illinois, he forgot his ID. We've all done that before, but he couldn't buy cigars from the local shop. So instead of driving home to get the ID, he robbed the place. and then got arrested. And in Spain, this is what happens when you're forgetful when you go to a laundromat. Guy forgot that he had a lighter in his pocket, no problem, until he put it in the dryer. And then the laundromat blew up as a direct result. But like we said, people forget things, people abandon things, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident, but that's what today's question is. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind?
To be a part of the Big Show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
When it comes to personal style, it's not just about a signature look. You can build your style piece by piece. With new colors, fabrics, and styles, it's the perfect time to add new layers with Indochino. From classic suits to stylish outerwear, get made-to-measure quality at an off-the-rack price. Add fresh layers to your fall style with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code PODCAST to get 10% off any purchase $3.99 or more. That's 10% off at INDOCHINO.com, code PODCAST.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but tell us, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,948. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people in the news doing bad things each and every week.
Oh, yeah.
And we take those three stories, we pit them against each other, and try to determine out of these three stories, which one sucks the least. Is it a brutal week this week?
No, it's not a brutal week, man. This is what we're calling the Celebrity Edition.
Celebrity Edition.
Yeah, so you've heard of these people. They're getting called out for whatever they're getting called out for. Typical stuff. But see who you think sucks the least out of this.
So it's not the worst in the world. By the way, only a few days away from the Men's Room World Tour. Stop number 4, please. If you get a chance on Sunday, stop by Mike's Chili Parlor in Ballard, as we will be there from 3 until 6, taking over Mike's Chili Bowl, which is the big back area. Stage. We got a grill for the Men's Room sausage.
I would start calling everyone's big back area their chili bowl.
From Uli's famous Men's Room original sausage, Men's Room roasted red salsa from San Juan Salsa Company will be there. And, of course, a Men's Room original ale. If you're looking for Mike's, there's a huge Men's Room original ale sign.
I drove by it last night.
Right on the fence.
Looks great.
The building, yeah.
I dig it, man.
Event is absolutely free, 21 years of age and older. We've got live music from the Stoned Evergreen Travelers as well. Again, it is absolutely free. You just have to be 21. Big thanks to Mike, because Mike's not open on Sundays. So he is coming down from 3 until 6, probably getting there a lot earlier to get everything set up, and we appreciate that.
You know, you keep saying that, so I guess we should ask, does Mike know we're doing this at his place?
He does.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
That's important.
Yes, he
does.
does.
You keep saying, he doesn't work Sundays.
Right.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
He drives by, he's going to be like, what the...
Right.
What is going on here?
This place is packed. Yeah, stop on by on Sunday, Mike's Chili Parlor in Ballard. That is a iconic place in Seattle. It's been around for 100 years.
Damn.
Family owned and operated. Same menu, basically. The restaurant itself is not going to be open for the day because simply they're going to be staffed in the back. So
right.
We're taking over the back. We got a band. We got the sausage and all that. So hopefully stop by for Men's Room World Tour and stop number 4. All right, a question today, intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? We start with this wacky story out of Pittsburgh. They say
wacky.
Every now and then there's a story that
wacky stuff
that might restore your faith in humanity. This is not one of them. A woman was flying out of Pittsburgh last Friday morning, heading off on vacation.
Where do you think she was going?
She was going to some kind of resort, I guess.
All right.
She had her 7-year-old French bulldog with her. So I'm assuming it's probably a resort here in the U.S. I've never heard of international dog travel before. I'm sure it exists.
I'm sure it's happened.
I just don't know.
I haven't taken enough international flights, to be honest with you, to know if that's a common thing.
I just know if I can't take a banana to a different country, I mean, my dog's okay. I don't know.
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of places, like when people move to certain places overseas. I don't want to say like New Zealand and Australia are definitely on this list. But like
Johnny Depp.
If you bring your pet, they're like, that's cool. They're in quarantine, I mean, for a good long while. Not even like 2 weeks.
Believe it or not, it's a lot of the things that is in their urine and fecal matter. more so than anything else. It's
right. Not the dog, but
maybe they have worms. They could have a parasite.
And what
there's a lot of different things. Correct.
What was Johnny Depp's deal? Was he the one with the monkey? Shia LaBeouf had a monkey that he left somewhere, right?
No, I think they just had 2 dogs, but they didn't tell him, and they just brought him in.
He was either filming a movie down there, doing a movie premiere thing, or his band was playing. Whatever the
one
deal
of the
was.
two, sure.
So his dogs, they were quarantined, or I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah,
I know
they
he got in trouble.
But didn't Shia LaBeouf have him? I want to say he got a. I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I'm pretty sure with Shia LaBeouf, he's in France or something, decides impulsively he wants a pet monkey, buys a monkey. He finds out you can't just fly back to the States, so he left it there. It was something like that.
Yeah. So the woman flying out of Pittsburgh had her 7-year-old French bulldog with her. She tried to claim the dog was an emotional support animal. It was not. So they told her she'd have to put it in a crate. She'd apparently done zero research and was just pushing the dog around in a stroller.
Come on.
But instead of dealing with that situation, she abandoned the dog in the parking lot and boarded her flight anyway. An airport worker found the dog sitting in a stroller near the short-term parking lot at 5:30 in the morning.
Jesus.
She'd left some food and water, but the worker said, quotes, the dog looked very sad. Thankfully, it's okay. Police took it in and got it to an animal shelter. They found a microchip, but were not able to get in touch with the owner, probably because she was sipping mojitos by the pool in Bermuda. Cops say she'll likely face animal abandonment charges when she gets back. That's up to a $1,000 fine.
Okay, that's fair.
Story does have a
less
happy
than
ending.
her dog cost.
The shelter that's taking care of the dog says they've already gotten a ton of calls from people who want to adopt it. So,
how can you be such a dog person that you try to just take your dog on a plane and then say, the hell with it and abandon it?
Because you're not a dog person. You are. It's like when Paris Hilton got a Chihuahua so she could walk around with it in her purse. I'm sure you love your dog to some level. You're not a dog person. And it's a French bulldog, which are expensive, right? They take a lot more maintenance than your average bus. You put all that time and effort in, but if you can't take it to Bermuda because you're too stupid to do some research on a thing called Google, you abandon it.
There's a chance they said that she maybe had called a friend and left a message and said, hey, I left the dog out front in short-term parking. Come pick the damn thing up.
There's also a chance she's She-Hulk. There's a chance of a lot of goddamn things.
Yep.
There's a chance she's made out of cocaine that's been brought to life by a wizard. There is a chance. I just don't believe that. Right. There's a chance of anything. Is that a fantasy of yours?
I don't know, man.
It kind of is, Mike.
Well, you have a stroller. You have a stroller for your dog. You want to take your dog on vacation. Either that or you had no one to watch the dog for you. You've had the dog for 7 years.
Right.
You have a stroller for the dog, knowing either the dog does not walk very well under its own power, being a French bulldog. I don't know what the deal is, but
she might just be one of those crazy people that pushes it around in a stroller.
Yeah, I was going to say, the French bulldog are more likely to believe that. And look, maybe you didn't have anyone to watch it, then don't take the trip. And I know that sucks, but it's just, I don't know about you, man. If I'm going on vacation, like I said, if I go somewhere with my kids even, love them, it's still a trip. It's not a vacation. I can't imagine going to a resort and my wife says, hey, let's bring the dog. Hard no.
Yep.
No freaking way.
Now we head to the wonderful state of Florida. A Florida couple has been arrested after leaving their toddler daughter in a parking lot and not realizing that she was missing for 14 hours. Jolanda Alexandra and Meganson Alexander were each booked with 1 count of child neglect and have been released on $3,000 bail, according to the Palm Beach County online records. 2-year-old was found Friday at 8 o'clock in the evening, wandering near Haverhill Park, all by herself. She was wearing a pink T-shirt, a tutu, and clear plastic shoes. So authorities searched the park, looking for the parents. They drove cruisers through the neighborhood, making announcements on their public address systems. Sniffer dogs were also brought in, but police efforts were unsuccessful in locating the child's mom and dad. Finally, deputies posted a photo of the girl on the department's Facebook page and said, hey, does anyone know this baby? Now, this is again Friday at 8 p.m. Around 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, the following day, the girl's mother called 911 to report her daughter was missing. Deputies went to the family's apartment and arrested the parents and took custody of how many other children?
I only know because I read it.
7 children who have been placed with the Department of Children and Families along with their 2-year-old sister, according to the report. Both parents told investigators they had taken their 8 children to the park Friday evening to let the children run around and play for about an hour. The mother said she told the kids to get in the family van, and they drove home, where the children played outside for a while. Yolanda did not notice the 2-year-old was missing until the next day. according to what she told investigators. The father said he woke up Saturday morning, told the children to get ready to go to the park, and then loaded them in the van. He didn't notice the toddler wasn't in the vehicle until he was almost at the park, according to what he told deputies. The parents said they searched frantically for the little girl, then called 911 when they could not find her. Now, being questioned by deputies, the mother was crying, very upset, and stated that she usually checks on the children before she goes to bed. However, last night she did not.
I tend to believe him. I mean, it's not okay, but when you have 8 kids, I can see how you miss one. I mean, it sounds bad, and I don't think it's good, but I'm just saying with 8 freaking kids, I can see. Look, people have left their one and only kid like a daycare or something, right? Because they forgot it was there. That's one kid. And that I have a hard time with, because the thing about having a kid is your life gets so much louder and there's someone always talking to you or telling you another goddamn knock-knock joke. Like, in that moment of silence, I would say, I forgot my kid. If I got 8 of them and one's missing, your house doesn't sound any different. I have friends who have 4 kids. When you go to their house, it sounds like a house that has 4 kids. Now, I've been over there when one of the kids is spending the night somewhere else. It still sounds like 4 kids. Like, it doesn't matter. I can see the overlook there.
Another tip of what did someone leave behind, unintentional or not. What did you forget or leave behind? A Metro Atlanta woman said a man illegally dumped nearly 100 tires at the base of her driveway. I saw all these tires piled up across my driveway. I could not get out, according to Denise Cutts.
Thank you.
Cutts told Channel 2 the incident happened at around 2 a.m. while she was asleep inside her Southwest Atlanta home. The most hurtful part is I'm a cancer patient. I've got a lot of appointments. I was heading to one this morning. I could not get out of my driveway. Cutts' neighbors said that their surveillance cameras captured the man unloading the tires off of his truck, then just dumping them in the driveway. The neighbor said the man told them his truck got stuck and weighted down by the tires. The neighbor said they called the police, but they were unsure of what happened to the driver. Well, a good Samaritan eventually moved the tires from Cutts' home and to her lawn. I was able then to maneuver around it. But then late Wednesday afternoon, after Cutts filed a police report, she said she found an illegal dumping ticket from the city of Atlanta in her mailbox saying you have 24 hours or I will be subjected to legal actions that will be taken against you. She said city officials told her they would have a crew out to her home to remove the tires in 5 to 7 days. She called the city on Wednesday. An official told her a crew would remove the tires by Monday.
So you have 24 hours to do it, but if you call the city, explain what goes on, it takes them 5 to 7.
Yes.
Okay. So you get a day, they get a week. I see. All right. That makes sense.
They got other stuff to do.
And I'm a cancer patient. I didn't dump them here. Right. You got 24 hours.
Right.
We have multiple crews that you pay for. Give it 5 to 7 days. We'll see what we can do.
There's an area where I grew up on a lake, and there was an old truss bridge that went across a certain little span. It was basically just like a cove or an inlet. It wasn't the main part of the lake. At any rate, there have been cars dumped down there forever.
Sure. And
it really does look like the scene of a Dukes of Hazzard jump. There is the beginning of the road on one side. There is the finality of it on the other side. You can never cross this. There wasn't enough room for you to jump it.
The Duke boys could have.
But a lot of people dumped cars in there. Mm-hmm. So my one buddy, his car basically just kind of died on him. And it was one of those situations where it was burning oil. The block was basically cracked on the car to repair all of the work that needed to be done with the car. It was closer to over $1,000. He did not have that kind of money, but his dad was going to give him his old car.
All right.
So he tried to give this car to like a 16-year-old neighbor. The neighbor and his dad took it for a test drive. They determined that it's nothing but a money pit based on the fact that, look,
even a 16-year-old's like, I don't want your car.
Well, he told him the truth. Yeah. This is what needs to be done. His father was a mechanic, the kid who was going to buy the car. And he was going to buy it for like $400. His dad said, this is a waste of $400. Based on what I need to do to fix this car, we are going to go find you a starter car. It's going to be a different car. What did Craig do? He took the car to that road, and basically he decided that he was going to drive it off of that thing into the water and then bail on it, which he did do, in fact, successfully without getting injured, which is amazing.
Did he bail before it hit the water or when it hit the water?
He went with the car.
Okay.
He had already determined. He put a pillow on his lap in between himself.
Safety first.
Yes, he did, in the steering wheel. This was his plan.
A leather cap.
Yeah, he buckled himself.
And a mouth guard.
He buckled himself in.
And a snorkel.
He rolled all the windows down on the car, and he basically just said the hell with it, and he drove. He said top speed 35 miles an hour when he hit the ramp, so it wasn't anything too crazy. He said the one thing that he did not expect, though, he thought that the car would land, and then he would open the door and swim out. What ended up happening was, when he launched the car, the nose of the car went down. So when the car hit the water, it was nose down in the water, and then it went over and onto its top.
Right.
So it flipped over when it hit the water. So basically, you're seeing the undercarriage of the car and all four tires, according to my buddy Pat, who witnessed all this stuff. And then you see him try to get out of the car. At this point, though, the windows are submerged in the car.
Right.
So he's upside down. Now, so he waited, I guess, for the water to rush in before he was able to, quote unquote, swim out. He's like, I had to wait for a minute because the force was too much of the water coming into the car.
Why don't they just swim through the freaking window?
The windows
Because
are now
the water's
submerged.
rushing in.
Right.
Okay,
With his
okay.
nose down, then flipped over on, and so all the water. So he said, all I had to do, but he said it was only like 5-6 seconds. It wasn't a lot. Then he was able to swim out. Then he was able to get back on shore. But yeah, he left behind the car in the lake. So that's the car's resting.
I can't believe he went in there with the car.
Oh yeah, that was all plan.
I admire
he
the
wanted
spirit.
he wanted to jump the car into the water. That was the ultimate plan because he had I don't know where he came up with this harebrained idea, but he's like, look, man, I know where I want to dump this car. There's other cars in the water down there.
We are products of the 70s and 80s. Every TV show he ever watched is where he got the idea to jump that thing into the water.
I know it's not cool to drop a car. Like, anytime I drive by somebody who's on a road where there's like a old washer and dryer or a refrigerator they left behind or an old couch, I'm like, you idiots, Yeah. But in this case, I was just like, that's awesome.
I think it all depends on age.
Just as much environmental damage. That's great, man.
Well, sure, it's in the river and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. If I was going to do that, I'd probably just put gasoline on it, try to blow it up, and walk away from it slowly.
Really?
Yeah, like a movie.
I hear what you're saying. I kind of like Miles' buddy's idea better, man, because I want to do the ramp.
Yeah.
It's not about landing in the water. It's more like I got to be in a car that jumped off of a ramp. And the only thing I had to do to be successful was land in the water.
Well, Pat was there with a video camera. So he had one of those old VHS cameras.
Yeah.
It was his dad's. So he filmed the damn thing. He filmed the jump on this thing.
Yeah.
He missed most of it.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Like you saw the car go up into the air, right, from the backside. But then the zoom in the focus didn't work very well on the car on the camera because it wasn't as good of an autofocus at the time. So when the car leaves the ramp, all you see is it gets real blurry, but then the camera zooms in on the ramp area and then focuses on that.
Yeah.
So everything around it is blurry. So you just see like the lights and then the car, and then he runs up, and then by the time that he focuses on the car in the water, it's already upside down. The only thing you see is Craig swimming out the window.
So let me guess, he works now as like a cameraman for ABC News.
No, he's a safety guy. But I mean, like, that was the whole point.
Safety guy.
That makes
sense.
The footage on this was terrible. That was the whole point, was to get this thing on camera, and send it to America's Funniest Home Videos or something. That was the idea at the time.
Well, I think the idea was to get the car in the river.
Yeah. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
We all have tasks we'd like to avoid, like mailing and shipping. It takes time lugging all those letters and packages to the post office. That's why you should try Stamps.com. For 25 years, Stamps.com has made mailing and shipping easy. You get all the services of the post office right on your computer, anytime. No traffic, no waiting, no hassle. Plus, you save money with discounts up to 84% on USPS and UPS. With Stamps.com, all you need is a computer and printer. Print stamps, print shipping labels, and if you sell products online, Stamps.com connects with every major marketplace and shopping cart, so you can spend less time on shipping and more time on your business. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code PROGRAM for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus postage and a digital scale. Just go to Stamps.com and enter code PROGRAM.
Shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
At the top of the show, we were talking about the woman from Pittsburgh who flew to Bermuda, I guess, and intentionally left her French bulldog behind, tried to claim it as an emotional support animal. So we brought up the fact that if you travel internationally, depending on the animal, every country has its own quarantine rules, but your pet's going to be quarantined, moving there, visiting there, etc. So I brought up, what's his face, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, I brought up Shia LaBeouf. So I need to issue an official apology to Shia LaBeouf, who I accuse of leaving a monkey in France. Miles, nothing can be farther from the truth. I had that confused with Justin Bieber, who got the monkey and left it in Copenhagen, Denmark.
I just don't see a monkey as an impulse buy.
I think
you weren't as rich as Bieber.
If you're like 22 years old and you're worth like $80 million, not that a monkey is what I want to buy, but knowing how I am at that age with that money, like, hey man, want to buy a monkey? Yeah. I mean, that'd have been the whole transaction, but yes, it was Justin Bieber, not Shia LaBeouf. As far as leaving things behind, someone says, we left our 10-year-old daughter at a yard sale. Oh. My first thought was, how much did you get for her? But apparently that wasn't the point they were making. They said the biggest problem is we didn't know which one we left her at because it was a very large community-type sale with lots of sales spread out over several blocks. We did eventually find her. Good times. Wow. I think that's got to be the worst thing. To say, hey, man, we left our daughter at the yard sale, and then you say, which one? I don't know.
But I give them credit that there's more than one yard sale.
Sure.
Then you just kind of lost your kid at a mall.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes it sound better, right? Like, we didn't lose her at Target, we lost her at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like people just start talking and walking away.
And someone else says that their father left them behind at a baseball game when he was 10 years old. He was crying as he watched his father drive away. 20 minutes, which is the worst part, we admit. 20 minutes later, Dad came back, took him to a gas station, got some Hostess products, and said what a lot of fathers say to their children, don't tell Mom. That is exactly it, man.
Yep. I would assume the baseball team they lost that day, and the dad was just in thought.
He was just that mad and just rolled out on the kid.
Well, I told you guys a story.
Dang Mariners.
That I was playing baseball, and my mom was supposed to pick me up from the game afterward. Now, the way it went down was it was just the field that we were at was in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing remotely close to it because you had to drive basically again to a strip mine type area where they could put a flat baseball field. Yeah. At some point in time, I told her, look, you need to pick me up at this point. We were going someplace, or she had something going on, or she had to stop by someplace. I cannot remember what the deal was, but she was going to get me either on her way there or on the way back from whatever she was doing. So I had a couple friends, but we were going someplace.
Yeah.
We were going to my stepdad's sister or grandparents. Something was going on that day. It was a weekend, afternoon thing. So I'm at the game. I got a ride in with my buddy. And I did not take a ride home with him and his family because I'm waiting to be picked up. Now, as time goes on, I'm waiting. There's no car. And I think I told you guys, I walked up in baseball cleats. And back then, baseball cleats, and I did not bring tennis shoes because that's just not how kids roll.
No, kids do not operate on that
but
level.
we also were at the level then, which was like Babe Ruth League, where we were wearing, at the time, I was like
spikes?
14, 15 spikes.
You didn't bring your tennis shoes?
No.
Dang, man.
No.
That's one of my favorite parts about wearing spikes.
What, change your back?
Changing in and out.
I did not do that. I had to walk about a mile and a half down the road and then convince the guy that I needed to use his phone, blah, blah, blah. He lets me use his phone. I call home. There's nobody there. So there's nobody at my house.
Right. And this is pre-cell phone days.
Correct. So then I called my other buddy, and his mom actually came and picked me up. So that's how I ended up getting home.
How much time passed before you finally, from the end of the game until you actually saw your mother to say?
I waited for 45 minutes, at least an hour. So I just kept waiting because I didn't know if she was going to get me on the way there, on the way back.
Was she home when you got home?
No, they were all at this thing.
So they even went to the event and forgot that you weren't there.
I don't know exactly what in the hell was going on. My mom was like, Mom, you left me at the thing. And she was like, well, I didn't think you were going to come here. And I'm like, we already had this discussion. You were going to pick me up. That's why, remember, you're going to bring me clothes to change into, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so I could go to this thing. She's like, I don't even remember having that conversation. And I'm like, you were the one who initiated the conversation. Mm-hmm. I did not necessarily want to go to this thing.
But
I'm a kid.
But I understand that I kind of have to.
Exactly. Ted, you were talking about the new Netflix.
Your mom did not like you. She let the skillet hit your head, hoped you die in your sleep overnight. You didn't.
At the time, she
thought that she could abandon your ass at a baseball field. You showed up home anyway.
She was juggling 9 million things in. I do remember that about my mom.
I mean, look, in his mom's defense, my mom was always working.
Yeah.
So, I spent a lot of time sitting at baseball fields, kind of waiting for a ride, too, right? Because she's trying to get out of work, and then there's traffic.
She has a job, first of all, and then she also taught an aerobics class at that time. She sold Mary Kay Cosmetics. What else the hell did she do? She had 2 very young children to take care of. She would take them to daycare or whatever the hell. I mean, she was always running around. I don't ever remember a time she was rushing to make dinner. She was rushing to pick up whatever it was. It was never just it was never just a leisurely experience. It was like, hurry, we gotta go. We gotta go here, we gotta go here, we gotta go here.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way she lived her life. She never.
I think that's life in pretty much anyone's house, as long as you're at the mercy of your parents. Your parents have more to do than you do. just as a fact. So when it's like, we got to go. Come on. You got 5 minutes.
Yep.
I'm going as fast as I can. Go faster. This is the conversation every day.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
I heard my buddy Joe once just go, why are your shoes not on?
Dude, I'd probably say that, no lie, 7 days in a week, probably 12 times a week.
Yeah.
We have announced that we're going to do this thing. And then with kids, you have to go down this whole checklist of things. Is everyone ready? Of course, the response is going to be yes, but you know that is BS. So now you start going to check. Did you go to the bathroom? I don't have, let me go. All right, fine. Did you do this? Did you brush your teeth? Did you put on deodorant? So last week, in fact, my daughter had an appointment. We had to be there at a hard, sharp time. We got her up. Seemingly, she was prepared. We have packed her lunch. We're ready to go. We're going out the door. And as we're stepping out the door, I just hear this voice go, oh, hang on. I forgot my shoes. It's like, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. Get your shoes on. It's always the last thing that kids do.
And it's weird. Like, sometimes I end up putting on shoes. Like, I'll put on my shoes and stuff before I even put a shirt on.
I think that's weird.
That is weird.
Really?
Is it?
Yeah.
I think that's
hop
weird.
out of the shower. Like, I don't know. The shirt's the last thing I put on.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess I'm the strange.
No,
That is really weird.
I know we're in unison with our guttural responses, but there's no other response. Just like, huh?
So you have socks and shoes on.
Yeah, some boxers. Maybe my shorts are on, but like the shirt's.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me sometimes your shoes are on before even your shorts are on?
Yeah.
Well, boxers are on first. Boxer briefs on
But you'll
first.
I know
your
but I'm
shorts
saying
on
your shirt
over your shoes?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
It just seems like more trouble than it's worth.
Well, they're shorts that got holes in them.
I know. I mean, look, do things your way, Ted.
Yeah.
That just seems odd to me. I can't.
I mean, I wouldn't do it with pants.
You guys never tried that before?
No.
That is a freeing feeling, just walking around in nothing but socks and shoes in your boxers. I love it. I feel great.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It sounds good. It's just a weird.
I feel like I'm at the combine. You know?
Okay,
like I'm
Johnny.
a crazy athlete that's about to go do something.
Okay.
That is very, very odd. I guess you would be faster than my kid. Ted, put on a shirt. Kids, put on your shoes. Let's go.
Are you going to wear a shirt? Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Well, especially if it's like not. When I say nice shirt, there's certain like T-shirts and stuff I have that I wear. Like I'll save them and wear them. So it's one of those nice shirts. Like I don't want to get it too wrinkled. We got a big event coming up. Maybe it's hot out. I don't want to sweat in it. Yep. So yeah, I'm doing everything I can and then put that shirt on.
Do you put the shirt on like my kids put the shoes on? In other words, like the final thing you do before you walk out the door. Like they put on the shoes and we're out the door.
See, my thing is my last thing is my socks and shoes.
If I know I'm on a time limit, even if it's I get out of the shower and I got 40 minutes before we go, I will get fully dressed, including the shoes, because that way I'm one of those people who's going to relax up until the last second, but I'm ready to go the moment you say let's
You brush
go.
your teeth before you get in the shower or after?
After.
Really?
I do it before.
I do it before, and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why.
Good call.
Honestly,
I mean, I never thought about that. You just asked me.
it doesn't matter. It's just one
part of
thing
my
I
routine.
discovered was, you brush your teeth to get that little foamy drool.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I realize I got to get to work, and I can taste the foamy drool in my beard. That's the only reason. So I literally just switched it up going, you know what? Brush your teeth first. That way, if you're all drooly and gross and there's toothpaste somewhere I can't see, I know I can wash it off. That's my entire reason for it. But
I guess my routine is odd.
that part not odd. I feel
No,
like
that's-
brushing your teeth.
well,
in the
that's
shower,
just whatever. I was just curious.
The underwear, shoes, and socks is like he's almost ready to go. He just needs to finish getting dressed.
Is that because the shirt is the last thing that you want to pick out as far as what you're wearing?
I'm just saying it's the last thing I'm worried about putting it on too early.
Okay. I will give you this. My son is like you because he does not like wearing a shirt anyway. So even if we say get ready, I know I can look in the living room. I know my daughter's not ready no matter how ready she looks. It is guaranteed. There's 2 or 3 things she forgot. We'll get to that. My son, I can look at him, no shirt on, laying out on the sofa. I'm like, he's ready. He doesn't look ready, but if we say go right now, he'll be up, put the shirt on.
Like Sunday, right?
But he's wearing actual shorts.
Right. So like Sunday, right, I'll do some stuff in the morning. Then that thing starts at 2 o'clock. So then they'll probably, around noon, I'll probably sit down on the couch, shorts, shoes, socks, no shirt. Got to chill out for an hour or two. Then once I call that Uber and it's getting close, put that shirt on, let's roll.
I think on Sunday you should make an announcement. At some point, like we get there too, probably do an announcement, 2:15 or so. Let people know this shirt that I'm wearing now, not on until 1:45, ladies and gentlemen.
When you shave, do you shave with a shirt on?
No.
No.
Okay, all right, yeah.
You get out of the shower. That's the other thing. I shave if I'm going to shave, I'll shave, brush my teeth, put on deodorant. Then the first thing we're doing is putting on a pair of underwear.
I will say one of the beauties of being completely bald, if you shave your head.
Well, you're doing in the shower, right?
100% of my shaving is in the shower.
See, if I clip, because I just use clippers on my head, so I'll do that before a shower. Because I don't want to get the little clip.
Understood, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Learning so much about each other.
Well, it's just weird, too, because you never think about your routine in the morning.
Right, because it's just yours. Mm-hmm. This is what I do, and I do it the same way.
You do it in the same order just because that's how you do it, so you don't forget anything.
You know what?
That's the same thing even when I'm walking out of the house. As far as what I do the pat of the pockets,
because I put everything in the same pocket. That's like last Monday.
I slap my ass first,
and
then I slap my front thigh, then I slap my left thigh, then I slap my back left ass cheek.
Okay, I want to clear this up in case HR's listening.
So it's like this.
That's also why I slap Miles' ass.
I'm good.
I slap Miles' ass to make sure he has his wallet. It's the only reason why.
Yep.
But I walk around the hallways.
I've got a badge to get in on my left and the right, and then I got my phone on my left, I got my wallet back here, and then if I'm playing golf, I got my golf glove back here. That's all I need.
I left my security card at home last Monday. I was so pissed off when I got to work. It's not that it's a big deal. It's not the end of the world, but just like Miles said, I do the pat down. And I do remember getting distracted by my daughter before I left that morning. But I'm like, that's no excuse. Like, I was mad at myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch. You put your hands in your pockets every day you do that. And seriously, I'm outside smoking a cigarette going through this in my head like, you idiot.
Well,
what have you done?
You guys are the same way, right? I put my keys and wallet in the same spot every time.
Always.
Last week, after I got home, I had to run an errand, and I can't find my keys. And I'm like losing my mind, right? I haven't smoked any weed, haven't had a beer. I'm just like, how in the F are those keys not in here? So after 10 minutes of cussing up a storm, I like lift up a baseball cap, and I just taken the hat off and put it on top.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the men's room.
Okay, well, I got a story for you. It's not something I left behind. It's something my mother left behind.
All right.
So when I was 6 months old, my mom was taking me to see my grandma, and she left me at the airport.
She left you at the airport?
Oh. She left me at the airport.
At 6 months.
How is that possible?
I guess she was really nervous, and she grabbed my diaper bag, grabbed the bag, and got on the plane, and the plane took off, and they had to stop the plane, turn the plane around. And from the story I heard from my mom and my grandma, they held me and they gave me to my grandma once she finally got me. She got me back, and they handed me to my grandma, and she finally, she got me back, but.
I wouldn't have given you back.
Look, here's the thing.
I mean, it's the grandma, so I'll cut her some slack.
Was it your grandma or your mother who did this?
It was my mom.
Oh, it was your mom.
Well, then no, your mom's a bad mom.
Now, wait a minute. Did this pattern continue until the ages where you could remember her behavior? So I know you're too young then to remember the incident. But did this follow a pattern of behavior that you could see later on with your mom?
No, not really.
All right.
I just feel like,
also she did this, or this would explain this.
But at 6 months, you're hyper aware of your kid, man. You're still like the new shiny car. You still got that new car smell. That's what blows my mind about that. But how old were you when you heard this story?
Oh, I really remember 10, something like that.
I think I tell my kids when they're 18. Like, oh, hey, here's something you didn't know. We left your ass at the airport when you're 6 months old.
I did have a situation where the airport left my luggage somewhere else, and I was going on vacation, and I wore the same clothes that I was washing in the sink and drying on the curtain rod for 3. They were supposed to be there the next day. They weren't there until 3, almost 4 days.
Yeah.
So this is no toothbrush. This was before the days where you could go downstairs and the hotel would kind of have a little concierge area where you could go and grab a toothbrush or grab anything that you forgot. They didn't have that then. Mm-hmm. So I am SOL on this.
I think they came up with that at hotels because the airlines do so bad at that. There's no other reason. We went to.
No, it wasn't the worst. I was in my late 20s, but it was. I'm just like. You dress on a plane, you kind of dress, well, at that point in time, I dressed a little bit more up, you know what I mean, as far as the clothes that I was wearing. And it was not, I left a cold weather environment. I had jeans on.
Right.
I went to the beach. I had to buy, so I bought one pair of shorts. I bought, basically went to the idea of just a dollar store. And
where were you?
I was down in Florida and I was visiting. So the thing was that I was visiting some relatives, but I was not going to go see my dad until the very last part of the trip.
Right.
So I'm driving around. I have a rental car Sure. I have all that. I do not have my luggage. And that was the other problem, was where I flew into was not going to be where I was located.
Right,
so
right.
they could get the luggage to the airport, but now I'm 3 hours away. So they have to then in turn try to figure out a way to get me my luggage at my current location, which they did through a courier service, like a van.
They did it to us. We went to Elmira, New York. Our luggage didn't show up, but we had our kid, man. So the problem is now we don't have a car seat or any of the breastfeeding garbage that goes into this. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So the people at the airport said, well, it seems your luggage went to Phoenix. And I'm pissed off. So I'm like, you think my suitcases have relatives in goddamn Phoenix and they went to go visit them for Thanksgiving? Because they don't. They're goddamn suitcases. And we have a baby, and like 2 of the suitcases are baby-centric. Like all of the garbage that babies need apparently to survive or shut up or whatever. We have this stuff. So I ended up going to a Walmart, my favorite place, in rural Pennsylvania, my other favorite place, to buy a goddamn car seat. And they're not cheap. I was so...
You know what do you do? Leave it there?
Yeah, what else?
And
am I
hopefully
gonna
you have a
do,
relative
man?
there that has another kid or something?
I mean, somebody could use... Well, eventually that proved to be true. Right? Eventually some of my in-laws, they had kids after we did, but we left it at the grandparents' house. But I'm like, I just spent $200 goddamn dollars on something.
I feel like after 30, like, if somebody gives you a car seat, chances are within 5 months, you'll know somebody that needs it.
Oh, yes, you will. I hedged my bets, and I was correct 4 times.
Yeah. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Mary's Place at KISW doing some good for the children out there. It's Cakes for Kids. Here's the basic idea. Mary's Place to do an outstanding job. They house about 400 kids in shelters in the local area. Yeah. All ages. So they're getting set to go back to school. They need a brand new pair of shoes, give them the confidence they need to feel good about themselves. Kids get to pick out their own brand and style of shoe. I think for $50, you help put a little guys in some shoes. The teens, the older guys, it's $100. So give what you can. Donate now at KISW.com. And just know this, we're trying to get as many shoes on as many kids as possible. The goal is to reach about $20 grand if we can. So that would be awesome. If you can do what you can do, any amount of money, head to KISW.com and help us out at Mary's Place and the good that they do.
Just dropped about $100 on my kids' new back-to-school shoes. To his credit, they showed up. He will not put them on before school starts.
Good for him.
Ted, you'll like it. I got a pair of Air Jordans.
Oh,
not Air Maxes. I know that's your thing, but they have the Jordans, and they're like blue and black or whatever. I was like, whatever, bro. Just
as long as he likes them, as long as he has confidence.
He does.
That's the whole idea.
I even asked him yesterday because I saw them sitting in his room, and I noticed he had not worn them yet, which is unlike kids when they get new shoes, right? So I said, "You like your shoes, man?" He's like, "I love them." I said, "Okay, all right."
My parents did not really buy me clothing to go back to school.
No.
Ever. That was not.
Plus, I got hand-me-downs because and the problem was, look, if the hand-me-downs in good shape, that's one thing. They weren't in good shape. They were jeans, with the iron-on patches on the front and all that, and that's what I got to wear. And to the good time, the perfect time, I finally got to the point where I was slightly taller than my brother and my feet were slightly larger. And for that, so my father was pissed because, and even said outright, now I have to buy 2 sets of clothes. I'm like, right. But I was glad because I didn't get hand-me-downs. And my brother and I had very different taste in clothing. Sure. He liked collared shirts. I just wanted T-shirts that said something on it.
I lived in I guess you could call it like a subdivision neighborhood growing up in West Virginia. It was not that. They were all individual homes. Right. But it was a neighborhood. And we lived in a modest house. Nothing crazy. Just enough for, 4-bedroom home, but nothing like a mansion or anything like that. So I'm walking home one day, and there was a girl that I'd gone to school with since maybe first or third grade. I can't remember, but her name is Mary Jo Ratliff, and I'll never forget this moment in my life. She is walking home with a friend of hers that lives in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So Mary Jo did not live in my neighborhood, but she was going home after school with someone who did. And we were walking home, and we walked by my house, and I was like, all right, guys, I'll see you later. And Mary Jo goes, you live there? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I thought you were poor and like lived in a trailer by the way you dress.
Oh, damn.
Really? I was like, do I dress that bad? She's like, oh, you don't dress that good. I just kind of thought that you were, I was like, I'm fine. Like, I have a roof over my head. Like, no, everything's good.
How self-conscious were you after that?
Oh, my God. Because she was cute. I was just like, oh, man.
I thought you were poor and lived in a trailer.
And I realized I didn't put much effort into what I wore because I'm just
obviously,
like,
man.
well, it's school and I hated school. So it wasn't like the place I wanted to be or like, and I was definitely not a fashionista by any stretch of the imagination. Most of my clothing was orange and red and had a Tampa Bay Buccaneer logo on it. So
I thought you were poor and lived in a trailer.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what she said.
My confidence has exploded.
Thank you. I feel so much better. And I didn't comb my hair, and I didn't do a lot of things, so I kind of look like a, ragamuffin, I guess. But
no, you look like someone who lives in a trailer.
Mm-hmm. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK, which was not uncommon in the area.
I understand. She just thought you lived amongst them. Mm-hmm. Didn't know you had an actual house.
Yeah.
Hello, William. Welcome to the men's room.
The foundation.
Hey, hola, guys. How are you doing?
Hola.
So it was 2012, and I was deployed to Afghanistan. I was a private. It wasn't me that left this behind, and I thankfully wasn't the one who was left behind. But we ended up doing some hand-in-hand patrols and some base security stuff with the Afghan National Police. And on one of our missions, we went to one of their bases about a mile away. We walked there. And one of my good buddies, we put security up in the towers. And after that mission, we were going to go set up security in the field and do some Overwatch type stuff. And when we left the base, we left my buddy up in a tower alone for about an hour or so with about 20 Afghan National Police with just himself and a machine gun.
And how did he do?
Well, we finally realized that he wasn't there with us, and my squad leader radioed back up as we were going to go back to our base and said that we left a backpack with the Afghans, and we had to go back and retrieve a backpack. So now the running joke is that he's a backpack. He's all right, but he was definitely a little puckering situation, if you know what I mean.
Sure. I bet he was pissed.
How does he get left
he was
behind,
not
though?
happy.
I mean, he couldn't excuse himself from the situation. I don't understand how that works, right? So does he watch you guys leave?
No, so we were pulling security out of the base. We had to talk with the Afghan nationals, so our squad leader was one doing the talking. He was like, hey, let's go. And we did our head count out. Actually, we forgot to do the head count out, and that's probably how he got left behind. And I noticed he was gone, but I was still pretty brand new private, and I didn't want to say anything. I thought my squad leader had the plan, like, hey, he's going to stay here for a little bit and watch us, or I'm not sure. And then when he realized, I was like, oh, dang, man, you messed up there, didn't you, Big Sergeant?
Should have said
I was just saying that. I feel like that's on the squad leader.
Yeah. But I was
100%. But yeah.
Yeah, head counts are important, man. Mm-hmm. Head counts are very, very important. So
Especially daycare.
We're doing a Ray Lewis
that's why those kids are always on ropes when you see them walking downtown.
That's exactly why they're on goddamn ropes, man.
I feel better when I see them all attached to each other.
I do too.
And those kids, I mean, like, those are the kids that wander off, or you forgot their name, or you don't notice they're not there. So years ago, Ray Lewis used to do this thing every year for Christmas. The impoverished kids of East Baltimore, he would do this massive thing for them. And it was a really good event, man. He bought them the toys they wanted. These kids would go up and sit on his lap like he's Santa, and he would take time with each and every kid, right? Cool thing to do. In the basement, he had, what do you call it, the blow-up, like bouncy house, bounce castle,
yeah, bounce house.
Whatever. Yeah. So bounce house. Indoors, no problem. So me and this guy, Ben, Ray comes in, and Ray's pretty hands-on with stuff. So he kind of recognizes us from training camp and all that kind of thing from the radio station. Just said, oh, so you fellas working this for me. Yeah, we got you, man. What is it that you need us to do exactly? He's like, well, look, downstairs, before we do the dinner, man, and before I give him the gifts, I got this bouncy house, some other crap for him to do. 12 at a time can go on. That's the limit. No problem. So he's like, look, they go on, I think it's 3 minutes. They can bounce around, pull 12 out, put 12 more on. Like, got it, bro. Can't be hard. But we're down in the basement. He's upstairs doing his thing. We're doing this for a couple hours. No problems at all. The kids are easy to manage, you know what I mean? They're excitable, they're in a good mood, and 12 kids get on. And when they come out, you kind of pat each head as they walk out. And I'm kind of talking to my buddy Ben, and I'm patting their heads as they come out, and it stops at 11. And I'm like, this is the problem. So I say to Ben, I'm like, there were definitely 12 kids that got in, right? He's like, dude, hang count them. There are 12 kids in it. I said, look, only 11 have come out of this bouncy house. Like, there's nowhere this kid could be. And we keep looking in the bouncy house, and I mean, there's just no one in there. And we're like, oh my God. So it was like 5 minutes, dude. But it's like, do we go upstairs? And well, I would not tell Ray Lewis directly, but even tell one of his handlers. And Ben's like, no. This is the guy that brought up a murder charges, bro. Like, we're not telling him that we lost a child. I'm like, okay, we agree. But we got to find this kid, man. And I don't know where to begin because we've scoured the basement. We've looked in the bouncy house. And little kids are no help. Hey, because we don't know this person's name. You know, we've never seen these kids before. So we're like, hey, guys, is anyone missing? Did you guys notice anyone not here? And they're all, no. They have no idea. So we're searching around, and we're starting to sweat bullets because I'm like, okay, time's of the essence, man. At some point, we have to tell Ray Lewis we lost a kid, and then we have to tell that kid's parents we don't know where your child is. And this is going to be real bad because we had the simplest job. Keep looking around, look in the bouncy house again. I'm now physically in the bouncy house. And I don't know what I think I'm going to find. It's not like there's trap doors, but there are. I did not know this. So the way the bouncy houses are constructed, it's one giant mattress, and then the rest of the castle or whatever you see around it is kind of a separate attachment.
So he fell between the seams.
Did not know this. And this little hand pops up from behind the scene. I yanked this poor, sweaty, kind of crying kid out of there. It was like, oh, my God, I'm hugging this kid. He didn't know me from Adam. I'm like, I am so glad I found you. Not really because I was worried about you so much. I was worried about me. Yeah. But, man, I was so the whole thing was like, kind of dried him off, dried his tears, got him laughing about a few things. You know, a little kid, it's water under the bridge now, right? But we're like, you can't tell anyone when you go upstairs, all right? Like, this is between us. If you tell anyone, we're going to have to hurt you. Like, seriously, this is...
Now he's really scared.
We will be murdered. Do not say anything.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Kid's a liar.
And I don't know what he's talking about, Ray. That's a load of BS, man.
It's a damn lie.
We had it completely under control.
Yeah.
God damn, I hated that moment. Like, Jesus Christ, we lost a child.
We're gonna die.
I don't know the kid's name. I don't know what they look like. You know what I mean? Jesus. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Okay, so it wasn't something I left behind, but I was the one left behind. My mom was driving me and my friends home when we were 5 or 6 from the swimming pool. She was driving our 1970 CJ5, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 of us in the back of that Jeep. Right. And she dropped the clutch a little bit hard at the stoplight, and I fell out the back of the Jeep in the intersection.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jesus.
And she made it about a block down before she was able to pull over, and by that time I got up and walked over, and I was waiting for her to come back around, so I was okay.
Did she immediately know that you fell out of the Jeep, or did the other kids have to let her know?
The other kids were screaming that I fell out, but she panicked and pulled over and turned around and came back, so... Yeah, it was a panic situation.
Do you remember the event at all?
I remember falling out of the back, and I remember vaguely getting out of the intersection without getting hit, but not much other than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, man.
I've never heard of anyone falling out of a vehicle. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never known anyone that happened.
I have not personally known anyone who's fallen out.
I will say this: when I was in 6th or 7th grade, there was one of those situations where one kid did fall asleep on a bus, and since then I've seen this same story probably no less than 10 times. Fell asleep in the back. The bus driver took the bus back to the garage, the county garage, parked the damn thing, and left and went home, got in his car and left.
Sure.
Kid wakes up in the bus. Now, this was not on the news or any of that stuff because it was just... And it was understandable.
Back then, it happened.
But I've seen those similar stories since then.
Now it makes the news.
So the kid, I guess, could not figure out how to open the front door, which was...
is that one of those the kind of pull around?
I guess it was like a compression thing. I don't know what the deal was on the thing. But the kid opened the emergency back exit.
Okay.
That thing sent off an alarm on that bus, and it started bleeping, and lights went off, and started that whole process.
You know that sound?
Yeah, all that.
It's awful.
So that actually,
You should actually do the sound of it.
I'm telling you, man. I swear we would open them sometimes.
That actually alerted one person who was still working there in their garage.
All right.
And he came out and saw the kid standing there with his backpack, and the kid's like, I think I fell asleep. Like, he was just kind of groggly and out of it. But it was a buddy of mine's younger brother. And he fell asleep on the bus, man, and they just left.
I guess.
So, I don't know.
Is it like mandatory that they do the bus check now?
Probably.
After the final drop off? Like, hey, man, because kids are kids.
We curled up on a bench in the back in the seat. And I guess the guy just looked back and said, all right.
Hey, look in the mirror. See nothing.
Go, man. I'm going home.
I mean, that's one of those things as a bus driver, whether you're supposed to do it or not, it's probably so easy to forget to do it too. But right, it's not that hard to walk up and down. It's like, all right, there's no kids on here.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you look in the mirror, you don't see anyone. It's been a long day. You're dealing with other people's kids screaming at you. You know, just like, he probably saw him on the bus. Was like, F that kid.
Yep. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Loudmouth.
Hello, Jamie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How you doing, fellas?
We're doing great, Jamie. Thanks, man.
Okay, so we went on a road trip to Mexico, and we stopped at a rest stop, and my little brother got left behind at the rest stop. I was with my aunt and their kids. It was probably 4 or 5 of us in an RV, and we made it 35 minutes before someone realized that Nick was not in the RV.
How old is Nick at the time?
Nick is 7, but this is before cell phones and all that. So you can imagine. So that's, 40 minutes drive, and then you got to take that time coming back. He was there for almost 2 hours.
Was he upset when you guys got there?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was crying. There was people around. It was a nightmare. And I felt bad for him, and he was, but he got the gold starter treatment for the rest of the trip.
What did he end up getting that you didn't get as a result of being left behind?
Oh, dude, everything. He had the best everything. He got all the rides, more rides than anybody. He was, I think it was worth it to him probably in the end.
In that case, is there a point where your sympathy starts to go away? All right, I understand why you're upset, but you got 2 desserts, I got 1. You got to ride the roller coaster again, I did not.
Do you remember what state you were in when this happened?
Yeah, it was California.
You're in California.
I was hoping you said Jalisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, California. No, I wish I got left behind by the end of the trip.
Are you serious?
Why is that?
Yeah. Oh, just because of how the treatment he got afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you just loved Mexico. I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Hell with that. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Have you left your kids anywhere?
No.
Yeah, I have not either. I give it time. It's very possible.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I did, but not really.
What do you mean you did, but not really?
I moved halfway across the desert.
Okay.
Well,
you didn't leave,
right. You did not forget.
If you ask them, they'll tell you something different.
Right. Well, yeah.
Well, right. They were little kids, but I think we're saying did you ever forget?
No.
Yeah, I haven't so far. I don't.
Your kids are probably old enough now too, where they could figure it out.
Well, look, a lot of things have changed, right? So one, they're old enough, they're 13 and 11, almost 13 and 11, so they can figure it out. That's 1, 2, but most important, they have cell phones.
Yeah.
So we would get a call, but, if it were back in the day, in spite of how resilient I believe them to be, if we did not have cell phones and I had a notice for 2 hours, then it's just a cold, hard 2 hours where they don't know what's happening. I don't care who you are. Back in those days, mainly, there's 2 places you could probably reach your parents, at work or at home, right? So you kind of exhaust those numbers. And you can call around to your buddies to see if their parents might know your parents are, but if the answer is no, because my parents used to like to just go for a drive, right? So if my parents are just on one of the long-ass drives, no cell phone, nothing, just wherever I'm at is where I'm stuck. That's the thing about being a latchkey kid. The one I broke my key off in the door lock, all right? It was up in Rochester. It was maybe a 2-hour difference from the time I got home until they got home, which was no big deal, except that this was a winter in Rochester. It was freezing cold, and I remember I had to poop really, really bad, but when you can't get into your house, you cannot make a phone call to let them know that you're stuck outside. So I had to poop. It's after school, so I went into the backyard. I remember I pooped. 2 things I noticed. 1, it was a single turd, but it melted into the snow, but it was in the exact shape Which I just thought and it was steaming. I just thought, okay, that's interesting. I had nothing to wipe my ass with. I should have just used snow, but instead I went to my loose leaf notebook, pulled out a sheet of paper, got a paper cut on my bungus. It's not the worst pain you can be in, but it's this annoying thing for about 2 weeks. What I discovered, your butt doesn't heal fast.
No.
It really does not, man. That stuck. So now I'm just in a really bad mood because I realized my butt's bleeding, my ass is stinging, I pooped in the backyard. Like, none of this is what I planned for after school. I wanted to play video games and watch whatever garbage they were showing, right? But father finally gets home. He's in a good mood, whistling. Hey, what are you doing outside? He thought I was playing. I'm like, I've been outside since I got home from school. And he's like, why didn't you call? I'm like, because the phone's in the house that I'm locked out of, man. That's why. I'd have called your ass. I'm freezing to death. And I pooped in the yard, by the way.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Corey. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
What's going on, guys?
All right, Corey.
Like back in 2006, 2007, I did a tour in Iraq. We were stationed out at Camp Taj. And, we get big name entertainers that'll come out and do like honorary shows and stuff for the troops.
Yeah.
So we had Kid Rock was supposed to come out and perform for us. Well, I was in 1st Cavalry Division at the time, and Air Cav out of Fort Hood was managing all of our flights for us. Well, Air Cav left Kid Rock on the tarmac in the middle of the lodge.
Oh, my God.
Like, they just left him. Like, he's just standing there with all of his equipment and everything. They didn't load his baggage or nothing.
How long was he stuck out there?
So it's about a 30-minute flight from Balad to Camp Taji. So they wouldn't have been able to make it back and, I guess, acquisition another flight plan to go get him for another hour or so. Like, it's got to go up the chain of command and stuff to file a flight plan. So he must have been stuck in Balad for, I don't know, a couple of hours at least.
Had he already played the show, or was this after the fact?
Well, no, this was before the show. Like, he ended up having to cancel us out of the tour and go on to his next stop. It was just hours that they were just stranded there.
And I can't believe
that's brutal. That's so hot.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You're not a soldier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a dude wearing a tank top made out of beer tops. You're standing in the middle of a foreign country.
Get me out of here.
I mean, dude, that sucks.
Yeah. I was just like,
I mean, if you don't know anything about American culture, and the first thing you see is Kid Rock, you're like, what is going on in that country?
Right. Who is that?
What is happening there?
Yeah, I mean, look, Kid Rock's the friend, so it'll be like, hey, Army, I'm putting on a free show here for you.
Come on, guys.
All you have to do is give me a ride.
Literally.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the Podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the Podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
KISW, the men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Who sucks less? Coming up right after emails on our question, intentional or not. What did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Here's a nice one from the text line. As we know, obviously lots of parents leave the kids behind somewhere. It says, my mom left me at a cemetery. It was after my uncle's funeral, and she headed to the reception thinking that I had ridden with my aunt to the reception, and no one noticed I was missing for a good 30 to 45 minutes. Finally, they left and came back to pick me up from the cemetery. I was 7, and I was bawling and terrified.
Man.
Yeah, I guess so. Creepy-ass cemetery. Good time.
I mean, again, though, that you could see how that could happen.
I can absolutely see how that happens.
I remember being young and going to like a funeral and riding home with my cousin.
Right, it's all family. Everyone piles in there because they're all going back to the same place.
Correct.
But that'd be a bad feeling. Like, so where is Ted?
Dude, I did it to a buddy. We had been tailgating the Maryland game all day, and another friend of mine, she was a female, she had brought over a dude she was hanging out with.
All right.
So at the tailgate, this guy's name, like my buddy's name was Alex. This guy's name was like, I don't know, Alan or something.
All right.
It was very close. Well, this dude was awesome. So we hit it off. We go back to my dad's house because, it's right there in College Park. We're all hanging out. Then we're going to go to like a frat party or something in College Park. So same thing as we're leaving, we kind of just look, and he's tall like my buddy. Now, granted, we're drunk. We hop in, whoever's picking us up, we all hop in the car. We go to the party. We don't even think about it, right? It didn't dawn on us. Then we get home, and Alex is there asleep on the couch. And I'm like, ugh. And like the next morning he wakes up, he's pissed. He just leaves. So I said to my dad, I go, so what happened after we left? He goes, he just kind of sat there on the porch like a dog. Right. It was like, I can't believe they left me. And he's like, you guys didn't know. He's like, you guys never came home. And I was like, we didn't notice till the party was over at like 2 a.m.
Was he going to go to the party with you?
He was supposed to.
Yes, that makes it worse.
It wasn't his plan to hang out with my dad all night.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, mine, kind of like other callers, it's more about being left behind. I grew up in New Jersey in the 80s, and you may have heard of a place called Action Park.
Oh, yeah. We're very familiar.
Yeah. Okay, so in high school, mid-'80s, we went to Action Park, and on a couple of occasions, the attendants for the rides actually just left and didn't monitor us. I remember going down water slides and stopping in the middle and gathering 20 guys together, and then going down to the bottom of the pool with some 17-year-old kid saying, hey, don't do that. Or the best one, though, was we went to the go-karts, and the attendant actually left. And we were out there for like 30 minutes on the go-karts, just going in circles. My friend's brother figured out how to pull the governor off the engine and make the go-kart go as fast as we could. And we were just going in circles, wondering, are we going to ever stop? And this just went on. That place was an absolute zoo. If you haven't seen the Netflix show, you got to see it. It was unreal.
We've seen the Netflix show, and then Steve Miggs, or BJ Miggs, he used to go there as a kid.
Mm-hmm. And even said, basically what you're saying, it was the Wild West. So as a kid, as he puts it, it's great because, like you said, there's no supervision, but obviously...
There was none.
Well,
Dude,
also...
It was 17, 18, 19-year-old kids who were either getting high or hooking up, so they weren't watching you.
And they didn't really monitor the rides as far as they were just building whatever they wanted to. They tried to do a water slide with a loop-to-loop in it.
Yep.
And the thing kept getting, beheaded or something?
Yeah, people were just absolutely breaking arms, breaking legs. They were doing...
I pulled all the skin off of my upper forearm, or up my bicep on the Alpine slide at that place.
I was going to ask you, do you know personally anyone who got injured going to Action Park?
I did. I pulled all the skin off of my bicep on an Alpine slide there.
Right, because even Mick said there was stuff they didn't go on because they knew everybody got hurt on them.
So when did
it was crazy.
When did that place finally close down? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I know they tried to, per the documentary, I think they tried to reopen it in the mid-2000s, but I think in the 90s, I believe, off the top of my head.
Because I want to say they did a Headbangers Ball there, something like Alice in Chains played at one point in time, if I'm remembering some of the footage that I watched from that show.
I believe so, yeah.
Huh, that's crazy. Yeah, it sounds like ultimately, if you go back in time, that would be a place that I would like to go check out.
Absolutely.
I know it doesn't seem like a landmark destination or anything, but it would be, as a child, we got to go to this amusement park.
Think about the MO of the place. If I said to my kids now, hey, there's a place called Action Park, you seriously run the risk of getting injured, but there's no real supervision, and it's an amusement park. They'd be like, sign me up. There'd be no question about it.
Not only that, man, but I do. My buddy was he was from Morristown, Cherry Hill area, which is just outside of Philly in New Jersey, but that was where his stomping grounds. So we were 18, 19 years old. I went back to his house. We were in college. I cannot tell you how good looking the women were in New Jersey in the late 80s.
Biggest hair ever.
That era, man. I mean, if you like Italian women who are hot and sassy,
That's all it was.
Hot and sassy.
That's all it was. Attitude, hair, and, everything hanging
and
out.
boobs, yeah.
And
that's all it was?
Like to have fun. I haven't been there really as an adult since.
The Jersey Shore, the show didn't do much to change that.
Right, yeah. Like I was like,
you're right. It's been 20 years since I've been there, but it was still pretty much the same.
I would bet you the tallest hair in America is still in that part of New Jersey. And I mean that seriously.
But Action Park was essentially a water park in most of it.
Yeah.
So you're just going to look at girls your age in bikinis and everybody in bathing suits. And
I do that now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't go back in time at that age to just be like, all right, man, let's.
Yeah, like the low supervision. That I think those are the favorite words for a kid. Oh, there's no supervision. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. They want to do it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No one's going to monitor what I do at a place that's built for me to have fun. Like, I'm gone.
Well, typically amusement parks were one of those places where your parents would either go with you for the day or you'd go like with a field trip with friends.
Correct.
Or someone would just drop you off. So, hey, we're going to Pittsburgh to go, I don't know, shopping at Century 3 Mall or whatever the adults were doing. We'll drop you off at Kennywood, man. We'll pick you up in 3 hours.
Perfect.
So we just, free reign of the park. It
got so bad. There was a place, I don't remember if it was King's Dominion or maybe the Wild Waves on the East Coast, but during the summer, they started selling these summer passes, right?
You're talking about Wild World.
Was it Wild World?
Wild
World. Right, because that was in PG County.
They would sell summer passes, and you got a great deal.
It was like $400 for the summer.
But, I mean, you can go anytime you want, whatever the case. So they did great sales of these. Then they stopped doing it because what they realized is people got to work. And what parents realized was like, you know what? Instead of spending money on daycare, right, which costs a lot more, I can buy the summer pass and the kid will never, ever complain about this. 5 days a week, we're going to drop you off at Wild World. I will pick your ass up on the way home, which sounds great in theory until the park started piecing it together like, hey, man, we got like 2,000 kids here and 8 parents. You got to stop dropping them off for daycare. Parents are like, no, you can watch them. I would have loved that as a kid.
I mean, right. And then they put restrictions on how many kids could be there without an adult and this and that, what age they could. I mean, look, you drop off a group of teenagers, that's one thing.
Sure.
But you're right. People were dropping off like 6 and 7 year olds.
Kids
like
that need daycare.
Yeah.
Right. And that's right. Teens can take care of themselves.
When I was 8, 9 years old, that was old enough for me for the summer to be by myself every single day and do whatever I wanted to while my parents went
to work. But at least at home.
No, I could go and go on my bike. I could ride to the pool.
No, I understand what I'm saying, but they didn't drop you off somewhere.
No,
it's like
I just had free reign.
Oh, same thing.
Free reign of the home. I would never do that. I would never do that. And there's nothing irresponsible about my children. I would. Yeah, I cannot imagine leaving my kids at home at that age.
I just can't work all day, but I mean, we left our kids a couple hours at home.
A couple hours is one thing. I'm talking about all summer long, latchkey,
not
9 years old. You stay 8, 9 hours by yourself. I don't think I could do it, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, but if you have to, you would. And but kids,
under the circumstances,
because we started with, hey, we're going to leave for 10 minutes, kind of thing when they're younger, right? Because I'm like, look, we're not glued to this. And once they got used to 10 minutes, you'd up to like 30 minutes. Now it's like, hey, man, we're going to step out. They're like, peace. And it's great. You know what I mean? They really, hell, we could go for a week.
Take the dog out if you don't mind. Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Here's the problem with it. Did you take the dog out? Yeah. Why is there a pile of ass at the bottom of the stairs? Oh, I don't know. Because you didn't take the dog out. It's the one goddamn thing you need to do. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the men's room.
Boo, bitches.
Boo.
Hey, so about 15 years ago, I'm a Marine stationed in South Carolina. We just come back from Iraq. And, units get pretty tight after going through stuff like that. So we used to have some pretty big parties. So one Friday night, we're at the officers club, and it's a rager, man. It's just going. So we shut the place down. And my buddy Timmy and I, a fellow warrant officer, we decided, the cops are pretty cool in this town, but we're not going to risk it. Let's just walk. So it's a good couple miles to the front gate. Make it out the front gate. You got to go through downtown Beaufort, cross a bridge. We ended up at a Waffle House, passed out in the Waffle House after a big, 2 a.m. breakfast. And we part ways. So Timmy, he starts walking north to his house, and I'm like, my house ain't that far. Well, it was about 6 miles. So, I'm pretty in the bag, and I'm like, I can make it. So long about 4 or 5 in the morning, I am within earshot of my house. Like if somebody was home, thank God my ex-wife wasn't home at the time. You could have heard me. And I am losing a losing battle with my sphincter.
Okay.
So all this greasy food from Waffle House has got to go somewhere, and I'm walking like a He-Man action figure. I'm just pivoting at the waist, can't bend my knees, and there just comes to be a point where I can see the lights in my living room, but I can't make it to the house. So swallow my pride, whatever pride I had left, drop trowel, and on the East Coast they got the old-fashioned mailboxes on a post. So I had a neighbor who took great pride in his lawn, and drop trout to my ankles, make sure I've got some clearance back there, hold on to his post, and I lay this baby arm of a turd. And thank God it's a clean shot. The sloppy joes came later, but take my pocket knife out, cut my chonies off, jam them in the crack, and I proceed, beeline it to my house before the sun starts coming up. This neighbor mowed around that turd for a good 3 weeks. And I can't imagine that, he was checking out people walking their dogs in the neighborhood trying to find this Great Dane or this Cane Corso that laid this thing. But I would drive home every day from the base after work and just kind of chuckle to myself seeing this thing, this island of brown that this guy was mowing and hedging around. But
he was hedging around.
That was my due diligence. And being a good neighbor and an upstanding Marine was to take a huge S in my neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Good times.
Well, at least you didn't do it out of spite, man. It's one of those things that happens.
Yeah, 6 miles after Waffle House, that's going to work its way out.
Even if you weren't drunk in advance, I feel like a 6 mile walk after Waffle House, you're just asking for it.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Sam. Welcome to the men's room.
Sam?
Hey, turn the radio down.
Sam's on the radio. Hello, Caleb. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
So, when my daughter was first born, we go home, everything's fine. We have her first doctor's appointment. So, 2 weeks after she was born, my wife gets out of the car at the doctor's office first, and she starts walking in, and I get out of the car and I start following my wife, and completely left my daughter in the car for a good, 10 seconds.
Just weren't used to having a kid yet. Yeah, see, that's when I'm on hyper alert.
Yeah, my wife definitely doesn't let me forget about that one.
Yeah, especially when the whole reason you're there is for the kid.
Yeah.
But it's only like 10. How many steps do you think you took? Maybe 9 steps before you realized? And who noticed first, you or your wife?
It was my wife for sure. Yeah, it was maybe 10 steps from the car.
And the baby's the whole reason you're there.
And what did she just say? Like, where is our child?
Exactly.
Like, my bad. Hang on 1 second. Jesus. That's important.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're not used to having a kid yet. That is for sure.
That's why you're on hyper alert, because it's just so new and it's so there. It's like forgetting you bought a new car.
Right.
The one you've always wanted.
It's now in your garage.
Oh, yeah. Forgot I had that.
Because my thing is, everyone got you so paranoid about having a kid anyway. Hey, man, and they're not wrong, right? They're not wrong about the importance of your due diligence to follow up on all the doctor's appointments and all that, but no one ever says it in a way that makes you feel any way other than remarkably uneasy in that your child is going to die in any given moment. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't matter what it is. The new crib, you name it, but you have to do this or your kid's going to die. That's the way I felt. So you never frickin' forgot anything with that kid. Although, when my daughter was real young, I remember newborn young, sitting on my lap, kind of excited about the idea of being a parent. She's dead asleep. I'm talking to my wife about this wonderful thing that's in front of us. And I'm eating a chocolate bar. And I kind of looked down and realized a piece of chocolate had fallen on her forehead and melted. As I'm talking about, I hope I'm a good father. And I look down, and basically she is her head is just candy coated. So what do you do, Ted? You have your
scrape
lick it off.
Chocolate off.
No, you pick the kid up and lick it directly off the forehead.
You lick it off.
All right.
Yeah, seriously, I'm looking down at it like, I guess it's my first parenting move.
Milk or dark?
It was, in fact, milk chocolate, which melts a lot more evenly, I discovered on the forehead. Yeah.
Intentional or not, what did you forget or leave behind? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Logan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, guys. So this was about 10 years ago. I went one-way plane ticket down to Arizona to go get a buddy and drive back up to Washington. And we got a sack of weed, and not even a mile from his house, driving back up, we get pulled over.
Uh-oh.
And they find the weed, and I go to jail.
Ooh.
So taking me through, all the different holding cells. I think I was through 3 or 4 holding cells, and in Arizona, possession of marijuana is a felony. So I have to go see the judge, and I got to plead with the judge to be able to go back to Washington, because as a felon, you're not allowed to leave the state.
Right.
I'm 19 years old, so I got this half-naked woman on my shirt. I got a hat on, and I get into the judge's room, and it's a woman judge, so I flip my shirt inside out real quick, and I set my hat down, and I go up, and I'm, telling her, I'm really sorry, I promise I'm going to come back. And anyway, she grants me permission, so they take me. I'm into the next holding cell. This is the last holding cell before I get released. I realize I left my hat. So I go talk to the judge, or to the guard, and I tell the guard, hey, man, can I go get my hat? If I take you back there, I can't guarantee you're going to get back to this holding cell.
That's a good point.
I just spent 19 hours going from holding cell to holding cell. So I left the hat.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision.
Fair call.
What kind of hat was it that you really, really wanted it back? Because I remember being 19 and your hat was your joint, man.
It was a USA. I think it was a 4th of July DC hat for. I think even Strasburg was pitching for DC then, and I had the 4th of July hat. That it was a cool hat.
All right, but you ended up making it back to Washington, okay?
I did. I had to buy a plane ticket to be back within 2 weeks to go to court, and plead my case. I think $10,000 later for the lawyer and everything else. I got both felonies dropped. Nothing on my record, so it worked out.
Okay. That's still a lot of money, man. $10,000.
It's worth it.
Well, the stories we read earlier, it was $3,000 for abandoning 2 children.
Right. There should be almost like a guaranteed, money slide.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Just. Right, $3,000.
Another one, $1,000 for leaving your dog and abandoning it at an airport so you can go on vacation. To me, I know you're paying for the attorney fees. I get that. It just still seems like a heavy price to pay when you look at the scale of things and what other people...
You left your dog. They left their child. The difference is $2,000. You can take one of them to the vet and make the decision to put them down because they have some terrible crippling disease. If it's your kid, you will spend your life savings to save them. But if you leave both, $2,000 difference.
Damn. Who Sucks Last is coming up along with your emails from the men's room at KISW.com next.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9. KISW.
Who Sucks Last on the way, but first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
To one from our question, intentional or not, what did you leave behind? Years ago, guys, my mother came for a visit. I'm living in Bellevue at the time. We take a trip to Victoria, BC, and took a seaplane. I managed to completely forget my passport getting into Canada. That was fine. Evidently, a driver's license was good enough. Coming back, however, a completely different story. When I explained to the customs official that I had forgotten my passport, he'd stated, He started to interview me. At the same time, my mom went absolutely ballistic at me for forgetting my passport, berating me and causing quite the scene. Well, the customs official immediately stopped questioning me and just admitted me back into the U.S. That from Charles.
That's probably why your mom did it.
As we move on to the birthdays, guys, my husband has always wanted a birthday shout-out, and year after year, I have failed him by forgetting. Can you help a girl out and give my guy, Brett Weir, some dirty Germans and a fish sandwich, please?
Hang on 1 second. Shoot.
$2 get a fish sandwich?
Yeah, since she keeps forgetting to give you a birthday shout-out, this year you have sex, and even though you finish first, you say, I forgot to bring you to orgasm.
Yeah, it's a good point. Either that or when she tries to play the birthday sexiness, just be like, I forgot about you. Maybe not even come home tonight. That'll teach us a lesson.
Or tell her I forgot we were married. That's why she's here.
So, I forgot that one wasn't open.
Ahoy, Pacholas! Want to wish my boat meat buddy Drewski a very happy birthday. He's a goddamn cowboy, a fine electrician, and a solid fisherman. So how about a mashup of sounds there, and Coach Ted giving him some advice on how to spend his birthday in New Orleans. Thanks, guys, and rock on. That from Angry Andy.
It's time to take off the leash. I just said that.
Please clap.
First of all, I'm impressed you know Drewski. Maybe you could sign me to Could Have Been Records. All right, New Orleans. I've only been there once, but I will say this. You can get hurricanes up and down Bourbon Street, but go to O'Brien's. It's the original spot. They invented the cocktail. There's a little area out back. You can hang out and chill. Hell, there's a piano bar. Now, you get about 2 of those in you. After that, ain't much going to matter. Roam up and down that street, go in, chug some beers, drink one of those green grenades, do whatever you want. Hell, puke on the street. It's Bourbon Street.
They don't care.
Already smells like it. Guys, today's my fiance Sarah's 36th birthday. She recently got a new job as an MA, so I'm proud of her. I was hoping for a birthday shout-out with a fish sandwich at Leroy Jenkins, and for the Dirty Germans to let her know I'm taking her to Leavenworth this weekend. It's a surprise. She doesn't know yet. Yay! She's the love of my life, and this is for many more trips around the sun together. That from Clint.
I'll have a fish sandwich.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins! Yeah, I like how he wrote that email. Like it's a surprise, but she's listening. Now she's not surprised because now she knows. But he's taking you to Leavenworth because it's very close to Deutschland. So he can do Deutsch dirty to you.
Yeah, glad to see she's a medical assistant. So, you know, when you go to Leavenworth, it's a fake little German town. But if you pretend, it's still fun. The same way you can pretend you're having sex with us when you're having sex with that boyfriend.
Yeah, she already does.
I do love Leavenworth, though. You're going to have a blast up there.
Any recommendations?
Munchin House.
Munchin House is a, you have to stop in there. All right. I like the Big Bob bratwurst. The pretzels are delicious.
Are they hard or soft pretzels there?
They're soft, but they're a little crustier.
I got you. Okay.
And then you gotta go to the hat shop, put on hats. There's a bakery, and I think Cured has a lot of good cured meats.
Guys, today's my partner's birthday. I want to do a shout out for them so they can get some turtle sex and animalize this. And the Dirty Germans talking about they, them pronouns. Thanks, guys. That from Lex.
Yeah, see, they, them pronouns, they mean nothing. Whatever you want to call yourself, I want to have sexy time.
See, if you've ever watched German porn, you know why we use they.
Yeah, because multiple partners. So no matter who you are, it will be they are waiting for us.
Guys, I want to wish my fiance Jeff a very happy birthday and a rockin' one. You're my world. I love you so much. From Rebecca. How about a long bong rip, a fish sandwich, and the Dirty Germans? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
A fillet of fish sandwich.
Yeah, maybe tonight.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us this week. She also had a shot. Some of the Germans are just screaming F words.
Yeah.
Today is my 39th birthday. I'm excited to start my last year, my 30th, with a bang, and hoping you guys can help me ring it. How about a few shotgun gets and the Dirty Germans giving advice for the single redhead trying to get back in the dating game? Thanks, guys, and rock on. That from Monica. Get.
Yeah, maybe you can play the harmonica, also known as the mouth harp. I'll supply the instrument.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it's 39. So you're back in a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
You're not the only ones that said the failed marriage at this point.
I know, redhead. This makes you special.
Yeah, 30s are a desert.
I'll tell you what you do. Don't wear underwear and do cartwheels in a skirt.
So honestly, just sit at the bar.
It'll look like poi.
Jesus. Damn.
Wow. Hola, guys. My name is Larry. It is my birthday. I am 40 years old. Can I get a big old bong rip, a fish sandwich, maybe a 21 sound salute? That way we get it all in there. You guys rock. Thanks. There's one.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Dude.
So, suck it up, cupcake! Oh my God, what the f*** is that, bro?
A filet of fish sandwich.
Uh-oh, look out.
Let's pull it in, Jay. Come on. You're not God or my father or my boss.
Tip responsibly.
9, 29, 19. 9. One more.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
Guys, today's my wonderful husband, Jamie, a.k.a. Schwarty's 40th birthday. He's a fantastic father for our teenage daughter, one of the most hardworking men we know who would do anything for his 2 girls. So can I get a happy birthday from Thrill Sasquatch and some advice from Miles about him starting parenting all over again with our son who is due in October. Thanks, guys. That from Anna.
No. I don't know you.
Okay. Jamie, it's been a while. So remember this. No one, absolutely no one, makes more observations than a child sharing a stall with his mom or dad inside a public restroom.
That is true.
Yes.
Yes, that is what that's
Keep
called.
it down. I was hoping to get a birthday shout out to my amazing boyfriend, Dustin. Happy 42nd birthday to the love of my life. That from Amanda the Great with lots of love. How about a suck it up cupcake? You like that? And the dirty German's telling him what he's going to get tonight.
So, suck it up, cupcake!
You like that? You like that?
Yeah, sadly, tonight you'll have Amanda to hug and kiss.
Yeah, and tonight she'll have to prove her own personal nicknames. The Great. Is she great at the sex? Is she great at the mouth hug? Is she great at the hand hug?
Ooh, yeah. Or maybe all 3.
All right, guys, here we go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less?
Hey, time for Who Sucks Less. Steve and Thrill Hill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It is, however, up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, debate's already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And today's Who Sucks Less Hollywood edition, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Today, celebrities, all right? So they will feature Lizzo. Then we go to the other side of the puddle jumper for Ariana Grande and Doja Cat. But let's start with Lizzo. You probably heard this already, but Lizzo is being accused of mistreating her backup dancers, which includes, supposedly, weight-shaming them. I'll let that just sink in for you for a second. Think about it. Anyway, 3 dancers who got their jobs through Lizzo's show, Watch Out for the Big Girls. I don't know if you remember that, but she intentionally got the overweight girls. You can dance, do it, be proud, etc. Well, they're suing her for major damages due to her behavior. Now, 2 of the women were actually fired by Lizzo. A 3rd quit. One of their complaints is that Lizzo took them to live sex shows in Amsterdam, but forced them to interact with performers in sexually explicit ways. I will not go into the details. She was also apparently super demanding. You can expect that. Demeaning and demoralizing to the point that one of the women peed herself because she was afraid to ask for a bathroom break. Well, the women, they also claimed that they were banned from taking side jobs during pauses in Lizzo's tour. Now, a couple of Lizzo's former employees who are not part of the lawsuit, they stepped up to corroborate the women's claims. All right, so that's okay. That's a bad look. And for her part, Lizzo says, no, it's not true. The problem is a lot of people are saying it is true. But weight shaming, really? Come on, man.
Yeah, they should eat a banana.
Like, get the hell out of here. And then Ariana Grande. Is it Grande? What is it?
Grande.
Is it Grande? Didn't she say it's Grande, I think?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
The skinny little ponytail.
Let's call her Ariana Starbucks.
Ariana Starbucks and Ethan Slater, they hooked up on the set of Wicked while they were both still married, and now it sounds like their home-wrecking ways were even more sketchy. So sources say Ariana and her husband at the time, Dalton Gomez, they used to go on double dates with Ethan and his wife, Lily J. Now, sources, quote, Lily and Ethan also met Ariana's family together, including her mom and her brother. Now, it's not clear if any of these double dates occurred while Ariana and Ethan were hooking up, but sources say Ariana and Ethan were, quote unquote, sloppy about concealing their affair on the set. Quote, they were seen being all over each other while he was still supposedly happily married to Lily. Now, Lily reportedly tried to work things out with Ethan after finding out about the affair, but it didn't work. That's when Lily finally spoke out publicly, saying Ariana was not a, quote, girl's girl, and that her family was just collateral damage. So who knows?
Not a girl's girl.
Not a girl's girl. Not a girl's girl. And finally, we have Doja Cat. I know my kids are fans of hers. I've heard some of her stuff. I think it's stupid, but whatever. Good for her.
She's a cow.
She called her last two albums, which were titled Hot Pink and Planet Her, cash grabs, and said, this is the part. Now, look, any band that puts out an album, they're hoping it's a cash grab. Everybody that took the time to sign a contract to release a record hopes the record is successful. The difference is her statement where she says, everyone fell for it. She had a quote, now I can go disappear somewhere and touch grass with my loved ones on an island while y'all weep for mediocre pop. Naturally, some fans were upset and confused, especially since those albums include her breakthrough hit, Say So, and the Grammy-winning Kiss Me More with SZA. Now, she followed it up with an announcement that her next album, which is going to be called First of All, is going to be different, but not a cash grab. So, look, I don't care that you put out an album as a cash grab. At least Nickelback admits it. We asked him directly. He's like, yeah, I like to make money, and you like my music. But to insult your own fans that made you successful, that just irritates the piss out of me. But that's just me. Either way, so we have Lizzo, who apparently is mistreating some of her backup singers. But keep in mind, people that are not part of the lawsuit, they corroborate this, including weight shaming, which is the most ridiculous thing I've heard. We have Ariana Grande, who apparently was cheating on her husband with the guy that she met on the set of Wicked, which that's your own business, but they were going on double dates together, right? Me and the families, and then finally Doja Cat, who, if you like her, just know she thinks you're stupid for liking her own music. There you go.
Okay. And we got one reply on Twitter. Ben here. He makes good points. Says Doja Cat sucks the least because nobody got hurt.
True, fair enough.
Which I can agree with.
Right, I can got hurt. Based on the fact that, look, if you like what she's doing and you enjoy the music, even if to her it is a cash grab, and she admitted it, which is, that's on her. But if you like the music and you like what she's saying is, I would have done something different. I would have done what I want to do. I just put this stuff out in an effort to make money.
Sure, and it worked.
If you like if you like the music and people buy it, that's their choice. So if they like you and they like what you're doing, that means they're probably not going to like what you're about ready to put out.
You never know.
She's had a couple rough weeks, though.
Actually,
it's like the week before that, you know how, like, Taylor Swift has, Swifties?
Yeah.
Right, there's all these different names and stuff, and somebody asked her about her fans, and does she love them as much as they love them? And she was like, I don't love any of them. You guys are weird. I don't know you. Like, don't give yourselves Nick's name about me. So she kind of had 2 consecutive weeks of kind of essing on her own fans.
And look, I don't necessarily think she sucks the most. It's not that. But, don't treat your look, you said it's a cash grab, that's fine. But as a result of that, you made the money you're looking for. But they are actually fans of yours. You know what I mean? Those people, they respect what you do. And once you have a fan base, especially when you're at that level, and we see this with the Swifties and all these people, they carry a lot of influence, man.
Sure.
And they go out of their way to do positive things for you. So you don't have to like them, but what I would say is don't say it out loud.
I think Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater suck the most in this one. I'm going to say that Doja Cat sucks the least, but I think that the fact there's 2 other people involved in this besides the 2 famous people who are working on Wicked.
Right.
So they had spouses. They had people at home that, trusted them. If those 2 wanted to get involved in a relationship with each other, first of all, you don't go out on double dates.
That's most of my thing.
That's really grinding it in. You talk privately with your significant other and say, look, it's not working out. You may or may not tell them that you have someone else that you're interested in.
I'm having wicked sex.
That depends on whoever you are and how far you want to go with that. But I think the fact that they basically broke up two families, I think that in that instance, that one is the one that sucks the most.
See, I would say Lizzo sucks the most. Because now you're dealing with people, like, number one, like, your whole show is about body positivity.
You call the show Watch Out for the Big Girls.
Right. Then if you're fat shaming these women and like some of the stories from overseas and stuff and taking them to sex shows, like, look, I get that might be her lifestyle, but like people that work for you aren't all in the same boat. Right. So like she kind of, what it sounds like, forced people to do this, or they thought and then other people collaborated with that and were like, right, we're not suing her. We're just saying that all happened.
Yeah.
So to me, she sucks the most. I'm going to sound like an a-hole here. Miles, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know. Was Ariana Grande doing local news in New York City? Like, we see this story all the time of people that work together or whatever. Or sometimes you don't even have to work together. They're just neighbors that live in the same neighborhood. They spend all the time with each other. Then somebody's hooking up with the other person or whatever. So I'm like, I'm only saying that doesn't suck the most because I just think it's unfortunately way too common.
Yeah.
Especially like in that world.
You're not wrong.
And I'm just making the joke about New York City because those two anchors that were together.
Yeah, I can't think of their names. I know exactly.
Amy Robach or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, you've heard this before. I would also say that's a tough part about dating an actor or an actress. Sounds like they're always falling in love with their co-stars.
Always.
You know?
Yeah.
So when I made a movie, I don't know, hire somebody I want to hook up with.
You were naked.
Well, at least you had a dead hooker.
Yeah.
Doja Cat, I think that's dumb. I don't understand the point in it. And this
you don't
and that.
really suck, but not great PR.
Right, and like, listen, if you're a fan of anybody, like, they've sold out some. You know,
if you signed a contract to let someone else release your music, then they're going to keep a cut. That's the first. This is not a criticism, but that is the first sellout.
Yep. Right. So then I'm just agreeing with this guy on Twitter. I'm like, in the end, that's just her hurting herself and her own bottom line with money. So like, I'll say Doja Cat sucks the least.
Absolutely.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Facebook and on Twitter. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming to minutes, we'll drink a toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, 10,000 people offered to officially change their name to Subway for a chance to win free subs for life. And the company will select one winner.
Really?
They're going to select one Subway.
Is that like a sub per day, per week?
Right?
I don't
never know what it actually amounts to. Because you would,
sub for life. Like
subs for life. That tells what it should be is I get a card and I get to go in and get a sub.
All right, so Subway does have a black card.
Okay.
Kind of like American Express has a black card?
Sure.
So maybe they get one of those. And I've heard you can just walk in if you have one and just be like, yep, sub.
Done.
Subs for everybody.
All right.
What would you have to change your name? What is the place you'd want free food for life? What would you have to change your name to? Really?
Yes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So depending on what time of the day it is, late night snack, I could always go there and just pick up a hamburger, milkshake.
I might be missing Snappy Dragon. I do enjoy the Chinese food.
See, things that are sit down might be a little bit more difficult because it's free food for life. I'm looking for the convenience of being able to pick it up.
Also, like, Snappy Dragon's great, but, like, there's only one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
With McDonald's, like with Miles, like wherever he goes, he's getting hooked up.
That's why I would never say In-N-Out Burger or White Castle.
Right, because it's limited.
Hell, even what's the one coming to town? Raising Cane's. You got to be in a certain area to find them.
I'd probably go Red Robin.
Mr. Red Robin.
Again, you leave this area, they're few and far between.
Man, they're out there. I mean, you're right.
There's a ton of Red Robins.
Yeah, I guess.
They showed up in the Maryland area like right as we were leaving.
Okay,
all right. What do you think,
honestly, Miles is right.
Go
to
McDonald's.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's got to be McDonald's. They're everywhere. Right. You can eat it all times a day. I mean, look, I don't know. Sometimes I might just swing through and get a 20-piece of nuggets just to get them.
Take them to somebody's house. Take a food.
Oh, Jesus. Anybody that has kids, I'm like a hero now.
You are the Pied Piper.
Like he shows up with nuggets.
Knee jerk for me is probably Taco Bell, though. Like I had to really think about it, but I go Red Robin. But knee jerk for me is Taco Bell. Yet again, they're everywhere in two. I can eat any time of the day in any state.
Red Robin's not a bad call, though. If I was going to sit-down restaurant, the Robin would be up there.
All day, baby.
Sure.
America's credit card debt levels have surpassed $1 trillion for the first time. Let's let that sink in for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Not shocking.
Also saw that more people are making withdrawals from their 401k early than ever before.
Yep.
God. Yep. That's the way it is.
It's almost like people aren't doing so hot.
I know.
Yep.
2 out of 3 people watch TV with subtitles on.
You mean just in general?
Yeah. If it's a show that has very quiet dialogue, which one pisses me off.
Right, that's annoying.
That's about it.
I mean, if it's a show that is in a language I don't speak, yes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't want subtitles on the screen.
I have a lot of thoughts on subtitles, Mike, and I'll talk about that as TV Time with Ted.
We'll discuss it. We shall. Coming up at 5:20 on the Men's Room. Jet Puffed is selling s'mores shoes.
S'mores shoes?
S'mores shoes?
S'mores shoes. My guess is that they're shoes that look like s'mores. I'm in. You know what? My feet look delicious. Let's go. I'm in.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's kind of like a
s'mores shoe.
It almost looks like a,
All right.
I mean, they look kind of comfortable.
All right. Well,
I'd rock them.
I'll put it this way.
That's
You
plus.
probably would never buy those shoes except that they're called s'more shoes. So I think it's a smart move.
I mean, look, either Jeff Puff made them. Jeff Puff.
Jeff Puff.
Or Kanye.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that it looks that much like a s'more. It just kind of looks like a cool shoe.
It's well established, gentlemen, that in our society, men, we all do a handful of things that, quite frankly, just go unsaid. We all do them, but we just never actually talk about them. So, let's talk about them.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10. 10 hilarious things all men do, but never say out loud. Like paying attention to the places where hair decides to sprout up. Take your eyebrows. God forbid you end up looking like a maniacal 93-year-old Wilford Brimley with 4-inch long creepers. One more thing. The ears. There are few things grosser than seeing a rhododendron bush sprouting out the side of your head with some gnarly brown mustard-colored wax hanging off. I'm no prize, but even I wouldn't do me.
Goodness gracious. So these are the things that all men do but never say out loud. Last on the list is passing another man on the street and thinking, I could take him.
Oh, sure. Well, you size up everyone. You're not looking to fight, but you're like, that dude will whip my ass. Well, that dude looks like that guy looks like
more you
booger bait.
see, giant people just like, oh, jeez.
Don't make him mad.
I mean, I do it with like crazy people on the street. I don't know if I size up the average dude.
Okay.
Start doing it. It's fun. It's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
I think I could take him. Nah, look at the way he's swinging his arm. He's confident. He's confident for a reason.
Right. He looks too happy. I can wipe the smile on his face. Taking off your shirt when going to the toilet.
I do it all the time.
Doing it all the time. Are you still rocking the shirtless poop, Ted?
Sure.
Good man.
Even at work
poop.
The shirtless poop?
Nah, not at work.
Okay.
But usually, I try not to poop too much at work.
No, that's fair.
Well, I'm more of a morning guy, so usually that's all part of the routine.
The shirtless poop sounds like a Dr. Seuss character.
The shirtless poop.
Yeah.
It'd have nothing to do with poop somehow in Dr. Seuss's world, but the shirtless poop lived on top of a mountain. Every once in a while, he'd go to the fountain.
Oh, let's see here. When shaving, trims the beard into a Hitler mustache for a brief moment and stares at themselves for a minute and speaks in a German accent.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got to do it.
If you got a stash and you're going to take it off, right, you take it down to the Hitler stash or also the Michael Jordan stash, depending where you want to go. and then you do something stupid, and then you finish shaving it.
I've never gotten rid of all the facial hair since I've started, so I've never gotten that opportunity.
The opportunity. You can do it, Mike.
I've actually had a couple friends that have taken their beards down and they've gone clean shaven, and then they'll share them up on Facebook of the different. There's so many different facial hairstyles that you can just rock for a hot second.
Oh, yeah.
And then just take a quick photo and then get rid of them. And every single one of them, they all do the toothbrush.
The toothbrush?
The official name of the Hitler mustache.
Oh, Jesus. I did not know that.
Actually rocked by Charlie Chaplin.
I was going to say, let's call it the Chaplin.
Yeah.
Chuck Chaplin.
Wow.
Chuck Chaplin.
Old Adolf took that one for himself.
He did kind of ruin that for him. Chuck's probably like, bro, I had a good thing going, man.
And from that moment, nobody could look at Charlie Chaplin without chuckling a little bit like, oh my God.
It's like, I know the joke you're making. Stop.
Well, Chaplin never said anything to defend himself.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Frankly, I like the guy.
Then he did The Great Dictator.
Wasn't he in silent films?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, he also did that spoken one.
Oh. I didn't know he did talkies. I was just making a joke.
That was a joke.
Himself.
My bad.
Silent film.
They try to push the Emmys along because of time and everything else.
Yeah.
When he got his Lifetime Achievement Award on stage, the crowd stood and cheered for 14 minutes straight to the point where he got so choked up he couldn't even say anything.
So there's no speech. It's just 14 minutes. 14 minutes.
They
of applause.
went to commercial break. All right, to come back. They were still clapping when they came back from commercial break. They were still standing, and he's standing up there crying.
No kidding.
They clapped for 14
Was he
minutes.
the first movie star?
Yes. I mean, the reason all of them are there.
Right.
All these people. Clint Eastwood,
good point.
Every single one of them is based on his success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy when you put that in perspective. Like,
Right.
this guy is the reason everyone is in this room, that you're getting this award. It was kind of a cool thing.
Fantastic, man. Again, these are things that all men do but never say out loud. Flush before you finish peeing and then race the toilet to see if you can finish before it finishes flushing.
I used to do that more like in my 20s. Not now. But yeah, there was something to that. Like flush, because you kind of gauge where your quote-unquote pee level is, as best you can tell.
That actually happened to me just yesterday. I was peeing in the toilet, and then all of a sudden it just read that I wasn't there anymore, so it flushed. I was like, oh, gotta hurry it up. My problem with that is that I never do time it right, so there's always a few little driblets left that are now in the clean toilet bowl, and now it just doesn't feel right.
How do you feel? Do you wait for it to refill, or do you just leave them?
Oh, no, I get rid of them.
I mean, I don't know. I still find it fun and amusing when it's flushing and while you're peeing. It's like, look, I'm getting it in there while it's leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
No reason why.
Catch the bus, little friend.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I was thinking it's like the light rail. Like the door's about to close and I jump in.
Door's closing.
If there's anything stuck to the side of the toilet, do you have the ability to not try to pee it off?
No.
I do not.
That's my job.
If it's there, it's like, oh.
Game on.
Absolutely. I'm taking you out, you son of a bitch.
You gotta get it done. It's more fun with toilet paper, though, than poop.
Agreed.
Yes. Agreed. Checking yourself out when your shaving cream looks like a big white beard.
Yeah.
Those bonus points, bubbles. Like when I'm scrubbing off my beard.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, just all good and lathered up. Like
I do it. I mean, I can't find it anymore. But for a while, I was using a foam soap in the bathroom. Not to the bathroom, but in the tub.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would try to cover my whole body in foam. Like the marshmallow.
Did you ever step out of the tub just to look in the mirror to see how much coverage you got?
I have a little side mirror that I keep on my sink so I can check the back of my head.
Right.
So I would open the slider and look at that and be like, ooh, you look crazy in there, Ted.
Oh, my God.
You're a wild man.
How about this one? Start peeing in the toilet, then back up 1, 2, 3, 5, 42 feet to see how far you can pee into the bowl.
If it's not my toilet, yes.
Going for distance, you bet, dude.
Yeah.
How many people have done it at the doggone bar?
Oh, dude, if no one else is going to come in, or if it's a single-use thing, absolutely.
Also, if it's a wall toilet, where you just basically aim
Can
at
I
the
put
wall,
my
there's a
back
trough in the bottom
against
of it.
the door
Exactly.
and still make this three-pointer? That's basically what you're doing.
And you got to move quickly because you're on the clock at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
And as you get older, your prostate's not as good. So the younger you are, the better chance you got it.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. If you got a stream going that good, that's also what sucks about porta potties. That little urinal on the side. I feel like it just splashes back.
Yeah, you do got to hit the right angle. I try to bank it there so it kind of swirls its way down.
I don't know, man.
feel
Plus,
it.
generally, if I'm in a porta potty, I'm at a festival or something, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yes.
are done. Absolutely. Things that all men do but never say out loud. Instead of putting the twist tie back on the bread, what do?
Oh, twist it up, spin it, and then I usually tuck it underneath
Tuck
the
it
loaf.
under the bottom. That is exactly what you do.
I used to do that until the kids got old enough. Right now, I put it back on there because I want them to put it back on there.
All right, that makes sense.
I mean, honestly, so all of those little things you used to do, you would do, and then you have kids, and you're like, okay, well, they will do this on their own. I don't need to teach them that trick.
Sure.
So I'm going to put the thing back on.
Yeah. I mean, that's as classic as leaving, the knife you used for a condiment. I'll leave this on the side of the sink in case I need it later. If I make a second sandwich, can't be using a second knife.
Right there.
Man, exactly. I felt vindicated. I was scrolling on TikTok, and there's a gal out there that woman-splains men to women. And that was one thing that she brought up was the knife trick, where you set it to where the nasty part of the knife is hanging over the void of the sink.
Correct.
So that it's still clean. But we do that because we're not sure if we're going to have a second sandwich or not.
That's the knife of indecision. That's literally all it is.
Exactly
I don't know if I want more of this, but if I do, to your point, I'm not using the second knife.
There's also the clothes that hang on the armrest of a chair, because it's still cleanish. I only wore the shirt for like 25 minutes, but it's not clean enough to go back into the drawer, but it's not dirty enough.
That's going to be hung back up. This shirt goes into the wash.
Correct.
That's all.
But Mike is right. If I go out and we hang out for an hour, then I'm back home.
Yeah.
That shirt's getting taken right off.
You bet.
Hanging on the chair.
Not back in the drawer, but it's going to go right back on the chair. You might give it a couple days so that nobody sees you wearing the same shirt that they saw you wearing yesterday. Sure. But yeah.
But you got to switch crowds too.
I feel that way with dry cleaning stuff, right? Because I don't own a lot of dry cleaning stuff, but as an adult, you know, suits, all this kind of crap. Like, I've only worn that suit twice without getting it dry cleaned. Like, no, do not take this to the dry. I'm not spending money on it.
As far as talking things that all men do but never say out loud, if you're going up to the toilet and you see a couple speckles there on the inside of the bowl,
brought it up, man. We're blasting those bitches off.
Gotta get it done.
We call that power cleaning.
That's right. The old pressure washer.
Yes, that is exactly what we do.
Then you get that one stubborn little nugget like, doggone it, come on, man, don't let me get the brush.
But I leave it there because I know I'm going to pee again. Right?
Right till the next go.
Seriously, I know.
My wife has yelled at me because she's like, you have left this toilet disgusting. It's like, it's not coming off.
Did you scrub it? No, I'm doing the power wash, man.
We're playing the long game here.
I'm peeing this thing off before I go to bed tonight. And I'm sorry. I know it's stupid to you, but it's like our own little. It is. It's like playing darts by yourself, right? It can be done.
Exactly.
But that's just practice.
Yeah.
Exactly. A couple from the texters says, have you ever noticed how guys always shake off the tips when they're done filling the gas tank?
Oh.
Well, you have
Tap
to.
it on the edge there a couple times.
Aren't you supposed to?
I don't know if you are, but we all do it.
Seems like one side of society is the one that's doing it, Ted.
It also doesn't matter because I'm not using cash, just using a card, but I still try to click it on an even number.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
That's the game you play, man.
This one says...
Come on, I'm going to time this bitch. Damn it, in 1 cent.
This one says when you tuck between your legs and look in the mirror and pretend you're a lady. Doing the old Buffalo Bill.
My problem is I look in the mirror, I'm like, you are the ugliest woman that has ever walked the face of this planet.
Okay, who does this one? After we take off our underwear, we kick them up into our hands from the floor.
95% of the time.
Yes. This one says my daily exercise.
Because the thing is, you just let them drop to your foot, right? And you know what? I feel like Mr. Rogers inspired that when he always kicked off his shoe.
Sure.
Like, that's the first person I saw that kicked off an article of clothing and caught it.
Guys ever gone beast mode when going up the stairs?
Basically,
yeah. It's usually the house that you're living in, but you'll go up a couple, 3-4 steps, and then you got a ways to go, get down on all fours, and then you'll just run up that bad boy.
I have done that. Not lately because I'm getting old, but...
right, more when I was a kid.
My son discovered this maybe 6 months ago, and when his friends come over, you would just hear this rumble in the house. I was like, what are you guys doing? And I realized... literally all they're doing, because it's fun to them and they'll do it for 20 minutes straight, is run, like you said, halfway up the basement stairs and then drop to all fours.
Yep.
And they'll do it, forever. And I'm like, this is fun for you. All right, have at it, man.
Correct. Yeah. Get a little beast inside.
Beast mode on the stairs.
Beast mode on the stairs.
If I'm beast mode on the stairs, I've had way too much.
Right.
This one was brought up just today. Slap in the pockets of your jeans to say wallet, phone, keys before leaving the house.
Yep. It's like when you teach little kids head, shoulders, knees, and toes. It's like basically it's the same routine, but you're checking like phone, security badge, and wallet.
Right. But this is the number one thing that all men do, but will never admit out loud. Actually, they do. 2 trips are for pansies, bringing in all the groceries on one run.
Every time. I grab as many as I pop. My father used to yell at me about that all the time, and I get it because I was a kid. You have no strength. Now, and I'm like, can you help me unload the car? There's a bunch of groceries. I mean, every goddamn thing's on my own because I don't want to do it anymore.
It's tougher with the paper bags. It was much easier back in the day with the little flimsy plastic bags.
Glue's crap, dude.
You could sneak them on fingers and stuff.
Agreed.
Then the challenge when you had the gallon of milk that you had to stow on that
The
one
pinky.
little pinky. Why is it always the pinky?
Because I feel like I know
It's the most dexterous finger.
it's dexterous, and while it looks like a little bitch ass candy ass, like it can hold that gallon of milk. So
She's stout, you bet.
The real weight is all the groceries, and then you scoop that last gallon of milk out.
Yeah.
Basically-
Every man can lift a Buick with his pinky finger.
Right.
The mayor of Tampa reeled in a little more than sea life while out fishing there, Miles.
What did she reel in?
I'll tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
All right, we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today, we toast an anonymous driver from Lakewood, California. Now, yesterday morning, our honoree accidentally plowed through the front of a building in his Hyundai Tucson. Now, the crash shattered windows, knocked into bricks, but no one was seriously hurt. One person did suffer a minor injury. Everyone else was able to get out of the way in time. But apparently our honoree was attempting to park when he accidentally drove into the office, hit the accelerator instead of the brake. The office, by the way, is the office of the Learn to Drive Community Driving School.
Oh, good.
And the driver himself, he's an employee. So it wasn't even a student, which was my assumption. No, it's a guy that works there. Before they even open for business, he's pulling in. It's a little parking space right in front of the front doors. So an instructor at the Learn to Drive Community Driving Center, mistook the accelerator for the brake and drove into the building. Damn. Maybe don't take your kids there. Just my advice. So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bitona.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
You bet your ass I can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Dylan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
How's it going?
Hola. Hola. All right, Dylan, you understand how this here game is played?
A little bit, but I'll do my best.
All right, well, I'll explain it to you right now. You have a choice of one of three categories. Those categories are Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Next category is Interior Decorating, which is where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem. I will share the story with you. I will offer you multiple choice questions. You pick one of those multiple choice answers, and we'll move on from there. So which category would you like? Bite Me, Interior Decorating, or Animalize This?
Let's do Bite Me.
Not to be judgy, I feel like you just said that because you want to say that to me. But whatever. So, Dylan, here is your story. A 28-year-old man in Japan died after choking on food at a speed eating contest. Now, the man was in the hospital for 3 days after choking. But contestants competed to see how fast they could eat 5 specific items. Well, the man shoved his 5th and final item into his mouth before passing out, and he was rushed to a local hospital where he later died. But the contest was composed of 3 sets of 5 contestants each. Now, Japan's best-known competitive eater, Kobayashi, he won fame as a champion of the annual hot dog eating contest in New York. But after news of the latest death was reported, Kobayashi tweeted warnings about amateurs trying to eat too much too fast, because it really is a professional thing that you do. The question is, what did he choke on at the speed eating contest? Was it eel, octopus, rice balls, or horseradish? So eels, octopus, rice balls, or horseradish, one of those 4 things is what he ended up choking on at the speed eating contest.
What was the last one after rice balls?
Horseradish. Horseradish.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's a terrible thing to do. I did that once, man, at a sushi joint in New Orleans. It was a challenge. He sculpted it into a dragon's head, and if you could do it, you could write your name on the wall. I'm young, I'm dumb, so I do the challenge, but as it's in my mouth, I look at the walls. He'd been open for like 10 years. There are 3 names on the wall.
Also, for the record, I am shocked people don't die more in that speed eating contest.
Yep. If you don't know what you're doing, right.
All right, Dylan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking octopus.
Octopus. All right. You going to make that your final answer?
I'm picturing a whole octopus, and he's just trying to swallow it. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're going to go with octopus.
Ted?
I'm not sure. Rice balls seem like the easiest thing to choke on there.
Especially if it's sticky rice and it's been out for a while. I think it's going to be a cheaper alternative if you're doing an eating contest. I'm going rice balls.
Oh, and I'll stick with them. I'll go octopus, because maybe it's those octopus balls.
It could be octopus balls.
Tapioca or takoyaki.
I can't remember.
God, are those good?
Are they?
Oh, my God.
You had them with them.
Right.
Did I?
Yeah.
Sure. Jesus Christ. Did I like them?
You loved them.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured I'd ask. I don't remember.
What did he choke on? Eel, octopus, rice balls, or horseradish? We're going to find out next.
Oh, damn it.
That was a tease.
We all have tasks we'd like to avoid, like mailing and shipping. It takes time lugging all those letters and packages to the post office. That's why you should try Stamps.com. For 25 years, Stamps.com has made mailing and shipping easy. You get all the services of the post office right on your computer, anytime. No traffic, no waiting, no hassle. Plus, you save money with discounts up to 84% on USPS and UPS. With Stamps.com, all you need is a computer and printer. Print stamps, print shipping labels, and if you sell products online, Stamps.com connects with every major marketplace and shopping cart, so you can spend less time on shipping and more time on your business. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code PROGRAM for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus postage and a digital scale. Just go to Stamps.com and enter code PROGRAM.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories bite me on profile this. We go to Japan where a 28-year-old man died after competing a speed eating contest. Because there was 3 different types of food they were supposed to eat, but the question is, what did he choke on? He went to the hospital and passed on like 3 days later.
That's correct.
So did he choke on eel, octopus, rice balls, or horseradish?
And that is the question that we posed to our friend Dylan. And Dylan, you agree with D. Ted Smith. Most of you went octopus. Damn, it was not octopus. Miles, you went rice balls. You said, look, if it's me, as far as food cost goes, and I'm just giving the stuff away, rice is the cheapest.
Sticky.
But also probably the easiest to choke on. And you are correct.
Okay. All right, yeah, there it is. Rice ball. Rice ball. Rice ball. I love good sticky rice, though. You just need to put something on top of it.
I agree.
You choke to death. It's like eating white bread and peanut butter without any milk. Now, for all TV news all the time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
I believe our very own Mike Hawk was talking about this earlier. Talking about subtitles on TV.
Yeah.
Basically, they said in a new survey, 66% of people, which is about 2/3, said they will turn on TV subtitles on at least occasionally, 13% saying they have them always on. Now, I think most of us are going to fall into the categories of why you would put subtitles on.
I mean, if you're hard of hearing, I would get it, or obviously foreign language. But otherwise, yeah, I have no urge to do that.
Well, some people said the two most popular were enhanced comprehension, 27%. I guess that means what? Reading?
When you read stuff, your brain absorbs it better than it does spoken word.
All right.
When I was watching the show Letterkenny, I actually put subtitles on there. One, because they spoke so fast. Two, they spoke in such a weird pitch that I couldn't hear all of it, and I was also laughing my ass off to where I was actually missing some really, really good jokes. And then as I started reading the subtitles, I started the show over again and watched it with the subtitles, and I was laughing even harder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I did that with Hardy Bucks, that comedy I like out of Ireland. Same thing. They just use so much slang, and their brogues were so heavy, I couldn't understand. And there you go. The next highest one, 26%, say help understand accents.
Fair enough.
Yep. Now, Mike and I are talking about foreign accents, as in Canadians and Irish.
Yeah.
People say they need them for thicker English accents on British shows, or even regional American accents.
What was the show in West Virginia?
Especially Appalachia.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was, right. And people have said, look, man, we know that it's English, but you can't understand what they're saying, so they'd watch this show because it's so regionalized. And the people in that region, it's not like they travel and pick up new things, right? I mean, Appalachia's Appalachia, so yeah, they said watch it with subtitles if you actually want to know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, believe it or not, the show Cole that was about Appalachia in West Virginia, the subtitles were included in the show.
Right.
Because
so there's a lot of
you could not watch it without
even the noodling shows sometimes, or Cajun or Louisiana shows. They just have the subtitles on there.
So the big three were Appalachia, Southern, and South Boston.
Okay. Yeah.
It's right because like the Boston accent, like if you go anywhere in Massachusetts, you'll hear that accent.
For sure.
But Southern Boston, it's much thicker. It's the same thing with like the English accent, right? Like you all kind of know the English accent, but if it's real kind of rough and stuff, that's like South London, the Cockney accent.
Right. We're used to like the London accent. You might get the Liverpool accent, but right, when it's Cockney, you might need the subtitles.
Yeah. And it's fine. And like, I get it. Also, I would say like Peaky Blinders was a big one too. They're all English, but also they just speak so low. Right. And it's like so dark. I felt my eyes hurt just trying to focus in on like the scene and what they're talking about. Right. That's another bad problem with like dark gangster movies from that era.
Yeah.
Is there's no street lights, so it's always super dark and they're always whispering and stuff.
Right.
But then they fire guns. You know what I mean?
The audio is so much louder.
Like, I don't know why. On my TV, generally it stays at 12, right?
I'm a 12 for myself.
Are you?
Occasionally at 15, the kids won't shut up, but about 12, yeah.
Right, but then Peaky Blinders is on. I found myself at like 17, and then when the shooting starts, it's like, you got to take it down.
I've seen a couple movies like that really irritate me. Actually, I just watched the John Wick flick, right? The fourth one. Great movie. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The problem is, Keanu Reeves always talks shit. So same thing. I'm jacking this thing up to hear what he's saying. Within 2 minutes, there's a gunfight somewhere, and I got to turn it down. Like, boom, 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 boom. Like, God damn it, man.
I think the only time that subtitles are annoying to me is if you go to a sports bar or a bar that's got a sporting event on. Typically, unless it's the big event, they don't put the volume on. They play music in the bar like they normally do.
All right.
But with the subtitles on, that's where everything I need to see to understand what's going on without volume is that's the score of the NBA final game. That's exactly.
Oh, correct.
What's the count? How many outs are there? What inning are we in? And you got to wait basically until they go to commercial break before the subtitles stop for just a half a second to go like, okay, seventh inning, Mariners are up 2-1.
And they're bad at it, and I understand why, because it's not pre-taped, right? So you got somebody who's pounding the stuff out as they speak, but it's somehow like the blocks are bigger.
Well, they are. And it seems like when you're watching a sporting event, you're right. When they go live, instead of it being in there, it's just like this scrolling thing, but it's this black box.
Right, and you're trying to keep pace with what the guy's saying.
It's blocking all the important information that I need to watch this sporting event. It'd almost be better if you could choose where on the screen do I want them at the top or do I want them at the bottom, depending on what you're watching. Because I think often when you're reading the bottom, you're missing a lot of the top. But if I'm reading from the top, I can still see the bottom.
I agree.
Plus, at the end of the day, with sports, you don't need the.
We don't need the subtitles.
It's weird to watch a game without announcers, right? But also, you don't need them. So if I'm in a sports bar, and you're right, and if I'm watching, let's be honest, right? We live in Seattle, Washington. not a lot of bars are pumped up to have a Maryland football game on.
You are correct.
Now, if I'm in a sports bar and they're like, "Hey, we'll put it on the corner, no volume," you're right. Like I don't need the volume. I just need to be able to physically see it. I can see what's going on there. Let's see what else they got here. They say 22% of people have subtitles on in noisy places.
Okay.
Other reasons include like serious stuff, like you have a hearing disability, you're not trying to disturb others, learning a new language, sound sensitivity.
Oh, all right. If you're sound sensitive, that makes sense.
Again, I don't know that I put on subtitles, but I find certain foods when I chew them are just loud. Like tortilla chips are very loud in your mouth.
Yeah, subtitles.
Well, I gotta crank it up a little bit.
Got some chips, subtitles.
You know what? You're not wrong. I'm just thinking, like during football season, where I'm more apt to just have a bag of chips sitting next to me.
Corn nuts.
Right. Like, let me turn this up a little bit.
Yeah, because you're chewing. You know what I mean? It is. It's loud in your mouth and in your head. You gotta turn it up. And then, like I tell everybody all the time, if you happen to eat while you're watching TV, like I do way too much. If there's subtitles, you can't do that. As you duck your head, take a bite of food, you look up, you've missed a sentence.
You missed something.
Frickin' screwed at that point. And then look, the reason people don't like them, they're distracting. They don't always match up to the words being spoken, move too fast or slow. As Miles said, they can clutter your screen. But when it comes to watching, most people prefer subtitles over dubbed over audio in foreign shows.
Okay, yeah.
I'm too lazy. I'll just use the dubbed over audio. I could deal with the lips being off for a minute with what's coming out of the speaker.
That's how we grew up watching foreign stuff.
Yeah. They also had some other cool stats in here. This one's I'm glad this is a low number. It says 8% of us think today's movies and shows don't have enough sexy scenes.
If you're watching a show or a movie that revolves around that, I can get the argument. But overwhelmingly, like, I don't need a sex scene. I can watch porn if I want straight sex, and if the sex scene plays into the narrative you're trying to explain to me, fine. But otherwise, I've never thought, like, I have the biggest problem with this. Oppenheimer. Well, actually, I guess Oppenheimer is a pretty intense sex scene. Never mind.
Everyone eats. I don't see them in the kitchen for 15 minutes making dinner. I don't see them poop. I don't see them shower.
Right.
If it doesn't play into the whatever the storyline is, it doesn't matter.
I don't mind when I see it.
I don't
but I've never had a complaint that there wasn't enough.
Yeah. And I remember as like a kid, right? Like somebody would always cover your eyes. Sure, you're watching a violent film, but don't look at the boobs.
Right. It's the boobs, not the guy's head that explodes.
As an adult, sometimes, like some people, you can see inside my place if you walk by. Like, I don't need people to walk by as there's just a sex scene.
Right.
And especially with TV shows. Look, I fathom what's going on. They're two adults. They're going in the bedroom. You showed them kissing, making out. Like, I don't need more of a sex scene.
Right.
And I always hate it that for some reason, if you're a bad dude, you're in an MC or whatever, there's only one style of sex you have. It's like some of us just like that style.
Yeah. Also, can we take the movies with sex scenes off of in-flight movies? Because I feel embarrassed as hell when I'm on a plane going to wherever I'm going and I'm watching a movie, then all of a sudden, bam, there's two naked bodies on my screen.
I think that's why they do it.
I look like a doggone pervert.
Well, they do, generally. It sounds like you downloaded a movie.
Yeah, I was going to say...
That's why I started unfollowing people on Twitter that were reposting, porn, because if I'm on the airplane and sitting there,
right.
And I'm scrolling through, mind a moment, whoa!
30% of us think the sex scenes we see are realistic. I completely disagree. No. I have had, I'm 42. I've had sex in my life and stuff. I've never seen anybody reach fruition the same time like they do in these sex scenes.
Every time.
Every
so sweaty. Single time.
Well, a lot of people get sweaty during sex, Mike. I don't think that part's realistic.
Okay, well...
Right, but you reach climax at the exact same moment, 100% of the time in movies, right?
Yeah, and it's always so nice and romantic.
Oh, wow. That was amazing. I want someone to be like, yeah, you're not done with me.
43% of us say sex scenes are rarely or never important to the story. Look, I'm not against the sex scene. I'm with you. Everybody wants to see some boobs sometimes. So cool. Especially in a good comedy.
Like I said, if you want to show...
Yeah, that's fine. Like when Blue, dies.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about in old school.
Just a quick flash.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
You
understand why this old man passed on.
Yes, the boobs.
And it's not the worst way to go. Jello wrestling with two women.
Yesterday, I told people you could watch Hard Knocks on HBO and the Johnny Manziel one. I will say the biggest thing out of Hard Knocks, and I'm glad, Thrill, you had the same reaction when I was talking to you about it. I have watched Hard Knocks almost every season since it's been out. I used to watch 24/7 leading up to these boxing matches. And I've always loved the music and the announcer's voice. So to Aaron Rodgers' credit, when they asked him months ago about being on Hard Knocks, he said, I just want to meet the voice of God, the guy that does that.
Right.
I had no idea. I'm sure it says it after every episode, but it's Liv Shriver, the actor. He's been in a ton of movies and stuff, you know.
And he's got the right voice for it, man.
Now, granted, I think some of his biggest shows have been HBO shows, but I don't know why. It just blew my mind. I'm like, no S. It's him.
Yeah, I don't know why it made me happy. I'm like, what?
Yeah, as if, I mean, look, I'm sure that guy does fine in life, but I was like, good for him.
Yeah.
That's a good, solid guy.
I didn't know
right?
who he was.
If you look him up, you will recognize him. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff. Right? It just never dawned on me. I just figured it was somebody else. It's also, I kind of give him credit. Like somebody asked, or Rodgers was like, oh, you're like the voice of the NFL. And he was like, I'm just trying to get anywhere close to John Facenda.
Right.
Also, they made him show up to practice in a helicopter, and he does the voiceover. He goes, I could have driven there, but they made me do the helicopter to be dramatic. But then when he's there, Aaron Rodgers obviously is talking to him. Aaron Rodgers is, not many football players are as famous as he is. But Aaron Rodgers keeps walking over to the younger guys and like Juice and Zach, and he's like, will somebody go talk to him? And they're like, well, we're nervous. He's a big star. And he's like, well, he's nervous because we're all professional football players. And then the camera cuts over and it's just him on the sideline, like flipping a ball by himself.
Yep.
Because they're nervous to meet him.
Juice? Juice Gardner?
Sauce?
Juice.
So close. Sauce, whatever.
There's only one juice then.
And you don't want to be him.
Also, Miles, you would like Zach Wilson, not just because his mom is very attractive. Do you know what he eats at halftime?
Hot dogs.
An Uncrustable. Oh, an Uncrustable.
Oh.
Jesus, Mike.
Yeah, I can guess what you did.
Yeah.
His mom's best friend? Is that what you're thinking?
You got me there, Mike.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Alabama has to pass a law to keep parents from smoking with their kids in the car. Meanwhile, a Vermont state trooper responds to an emergency call, but he does not get very far. Man saves a woman in a wheelchair after it rolls into a lake to a driving school where an instructor struggles with the gas and the brake. And the mayor of Tampa says she hasn't had a bite of food in 4 days. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
At our top story, we go down to Florida where a local mayor made quite a catch. She was out fishing on the bay when she reeled in something that didn't classify as marine life. She hauled in the mass and cut into the packaging to discover 25 bricks of cocaine inside.
Man, oh man. So she found 30, huh?
Indeed. She marked the location of the find and went back to turn the package to the proper authorities. Doesn't hurt the fact that she was also a law enforcement officer before she became the mayor of Tampa, so she kind of knew all the proper protocol.
Okay, all right.
And that people were watching.
That's a real problem.
It's weird how every time that kind of story comes up, that's the first thing that I think of is just if it was one of you jamokes that had reeled the thing in. You
wouldn't even know about it.
No. 25 pounds? Nobody would know about it.
Absolutely not. Why would I share that information?
Right.
Like, man, oh man, you're energetic today.
You're doing good, man. My gosh.
Sweating a lot, but you seem good.
In other news, to Utah for a very positive story. A man playing darts on the balcony of his lakeside property was thrown off guard by the sounds of shouts coming from the lake. Initially blowing it off, he soon heard a second holler that he determined to be a scream for help. Yeah, pretty much. He looked out onto the lake to see a woman in peril on the other side of the lake. He jumped into his car and drove to the other bank to find what was actually happening. A paralyzed woman had managed to roll her electric wheelchair into the water while she was still strapped to it. By the time he had gotten there, her head was already underwater and her face was barely above the line. This kind of goes back to my favorite scene of The Grey. She had already called 911 for assistance. She had her phone in her hand. She had called 911 when she was already kind of going into the water.
Right.
But then at this point, she can't use the phone anymore. But he aided in getting her unhooked from the chair and held her head above water until help arrived. Keep in mind that he showed up like a minute after he had initially heard her calling for help.
Right.
He was able to get over there that quick. 10 to 15 minutes later is when emergency services arrived.
I know, that's the amazing, because the guy drove over there.
Right.
And I know it's not like a massive lake, but still he got there within 60 seconds, right? And they took 10 to 15 minutes to get there.
Right. And they were hailing him as a hero, and he was blowing it off saying, man, anybody would have done the same thing. Right. And they all said the same thing that we were all thinking, like, if he hadn't heard her, we'd be telling a different story.
Right.
Because we were on the way. We were coming.
Right.
But
it took us that long to get there.
This was more of a recovery mission for us at this point.
I'm going to be the a-hole here. What was he doing outside?
Playing darts in his garage with his daughter.
No, with his kid. Okay, I missed that.
I don't know if she's a kid, but definitely his daughter.
All right.
I think he pushed her ass into the water.
Well, just earlier today, Thrills just randomly said something like playing darts by yourself, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy was just outside playing darts by himself? Of course he heard her. He's looking for a friend.
Lonely SOB.
Jesus. Will you be my friend now?
I saved your life. I'm really good at darts. Well, of course you are.
This is my buddy Wilson. We go to Colorado for a bad optics moment. We may have covered this just about an hour ago. A man was attempting to park his car at work when the worst possible outcome came to fruition. Somehow, in the process of parking the car, some things got fouled up, and he ended up charging the car directly through the large window of the building, lodging the car into his work. Luckily, nobody was hurt except for one who suffered minor injuries in the crash, but the irony was lost on nobody that the place of work that he had just arrived at was a driving school that he works for. And the photo that was shared shows a car lodged into a building with the company name Learn to Drive in big letters on top of the establishment.
That should be their billboard picture. Because when you look at this picture, you just see the back of the car slightly elevated. It's clearly smashed to the front, and directly above it, Learn to Drive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, right. If it's not one of the instructors, if you don't know that, it just like, look what happened to our place. Learn to drive.
Right.
You would not know.
As soon as I saw that photo, I said they should wall around that car and then just leave it as is.
Somebody pointed out, well, to be fair, it didn't say learn to park.
Yes.
Okay.
I got the driving part down.
We're good to go.
Next door is Learn to Park.
Some facepalm moments as we make our way to the Pittsburgh airport, where in just a single business day, 2 men were stopped by TSA. The first was going through security when he set off alarms due to the loaded 9mm handgun that was in his carry-on bag. The second was stopped also with a loaded weapon and ammunition in his backpack. He was arrested due to not having a permit to carry the weapon.
That happens a lot in Pittsburgh Airport. Happens a lot in SeaTac.
It does indeed. And I get it. Just go through your bag one time before you load it up. But that's it for your headlines with that. Mike.
No. Oh, maybe he's back. It's out. Yes.
I'm back.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy and the Head Chef's back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. Lovely Taryn Daly's up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best, and for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The men's room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.